If you've ever lost your entire night because you were vibe coding, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button, folks, and welcome back to another episode of Benzinga's Pre-Market Playbook. As we truck along on this truncated week here, we are at Hump Day. We're at Wednesday here, so we do have some Fed meeting minutes. We had some earnings last night that we're going to take a look at today, and we have another session ahead of us where we are going to try and squeeze out some money. So let's see. We bounced yesterday, looked rough a little bit right out of the open, but we spent the rest of the day bouncing. And today, do we get any continuation of that bounce? We shall see. Benzinga's Pre-Market Playbook, the February 18th edition for 2026, begins right now. Good morning and welcome back, folks. It's great to see a whole bunch of returning faces here today. I hope that you all had a wonderful rest of your Tuesday. I had a lot of college basketball on the slate, and I ended up getting locked into my computer trying to vibe code stuff. So it's what it is. Missed some of that, but that's okay. The big dance is coming up here next month. Great to see a whole bunch of returning faces here. We're going to start with Richard Judge, who's first here today. Good morning, Ryan, and everybody else. Good morning, Judge. Thanks for sending that positivity into the universe. It's great to have you back here. Reaching Financial Freedom, good morning. Welcome back. Peter, good morning. Welcome back. Peter, you got snow. Didn't you have 70s not long ago in Colorado? Now you have some snow there. I hope you're having fun with that. Your house doesn't face west, does it? Because that's where the snow doesn't melt. Anyway, you'll have to let me know those Colorado tricks. Zach McCracken, good morning. Welcome back. NAC tanking on court judgment news. Okay, not in NAC. I'm sure we'll end up taking a look at that at some point here today. Zach, good morning. It's good to have you back as always. Astro Kev, good morning. Welcome back. Crispy Biscuit. Hopefully you are crispy here today. Welcome back. Yeah, so fine. You are so fine. Yeah, so fine. That's really awesome. Good morning. Welcome back. It's good to see you. Robert, good morning. Welcome back. Brian, good morning. Welcome back. Wisdom's Joint. Oh, Wisdom, you're hilarious. Welcome back. Good to see you. Producer, thanks for everything that you do, including the timely reminders when I'm being a space cadet. You're the real MVP. Corey, good morning. Guys, Corey, I hope I'm not embarrassing you here. Corey, very interesting premise on BMNR. And I know that's obviously tied to Ethereum. Crypto is in its crypto winter, which we're going to talk about here pretty soon. But you make an interesting case for BMNR over the long term. I would encourage you to share that with the group. And then I would also encourage the group to give constructive feedback to Corey. If there's a hole in his theory, poke it gently so that he can make a better one. Corey, I don't have a position on BMNR, so what you were explaining to me sounds pretty good, I think. We'll have to talk about it a little bit more. Nonetheless, good morning. Welcome back. Jim, good morning. Welcome back. Hoot, good morning. Welcome back. Let's see. Who else am I missing? Bernhard, good morning. Welcome back. Yes, that girl. Good morning. Welcome back. Smita, good morning. It's good to see you again. Linda, good as always. Welcome back. Cam, Ohio. Good morning in Japanese. Domo arigato. Thank you, Cam. Good morning. It's good to see you again. Marty, good morning. Welcome back. Yeah, a bunch of 13Gs dropped yesterday. So Berkshire taking a stake in the New York Times. Yeah, I'm with you on that. I don't have any stake on that. But let me know if there's a trade based off any of those. I know Druckenmiller had his out yesterday as well. No positions, no change on any of that for me, but I am curious for the rest of the group if those change things for you. Day Trader, good morning. Welcome back. Good to see you. Marionetta, good morning. Welcome back. Ed, good morning. Welcome back. Just passing through. Good morning. Welcome back. Neville and Whisk, good morning. Catherine, good morning. It's good to see you again. JJ, welcome back. Yassine, welcome back. Yassine, we missed, I know you're on vacation and you should be living up your vacation. We had someone in the happy hour saying AI might impact roofers. And I was like, where's Yassine? We need him here. Nonetheless, can't wait to have you back. OM Bright, good morning indeed. I love the energy. Keep that energy here today. Empyrean, good to see you as always. Welcome back. Best Life, good morning. Welcome back. I think that's Michelle. Good morning. Good to see you again. Dive Deep, welcome back. The Goods, Good morning. Welcome back. Who else am I missing here? Unpopular Truth, good morning. Welcome back. Tyler, good morning. Welcome back. Kenneth, good morning. Welcome back. And Jonas, good morning. Welcome back. Jonas says, LMAO, is AI going to climb a roof and lay shingles? No, as far as I'm aware, unless Optimus is doing some crazy stuff that we're unaware of. I actually wanted that person to expand on that and talk to a roofing professional, so that we could really get to the bottom of it. On the surface, it sounds just as comical as you made it sound, no doubt. Shashank, good morning. Fastly's dropping. Did you take the trade from Anne-Marie yesterday? Because if you did, you're probably in the green on that trade, because that's what Anne-Marie is in the habit of doing. She just gives out trades that print. So let me know if you took that. Crankbait, good morning. It's good to see you again. Rustam, good morning. I have a story for you. I'm AUUD, Rustam. Sit tight. It's good to see you. Big Dave, good morning as always. And Jamaican, good morning. He says, love the background. Awesome. I'm glad that you folks like this. I was worried that when we started going to some of these really kind of cool backgrounds, that we'd have some closet Chicago or hockey fans that don't really chat a lot, that are going to be like, oh no, where's the Blackhawks banner? The Blackhawks banner, by the way, that was made and purchased and hung before the 3 championships in the 2010 era. Just FYI, kind of an OG when it comes to the Blackhawks, not to toot my own horn. Nonetheless, glad that you like it. Tara, good morning. Okay. All right, folks, let's go ahead and get started with our stock market today. All right, futures green ahead of Wednesday's open here today. It looks like we're going to continue the bounce that we started yesterday. How long will that continue? Well, that is yet to be seen. S&P futures up 0.37% as we sit here ahead of the open. Dow futures up 0.2%, and the NASDAQ futures up 0.46%. Now let's take a look at some cues from last session. Real estate and financial stocks bucked the overall market trend on Tuesday, closing higher despite consumer staples, energy, and material stocks recording the biggest losses. Wednesday's publication of the Federal Reserve's January meeting minutes will be closely watched by investors seeking further clarity on the perspectives of policymakers. However, the week's primary macroeconomic focus shifts to Friday when the Personal Consumption Expenditures Index, or PCE, is scheduled for release. And indeed, this is the first thing that I wanted to cover here today. While we are expecting minutes here today, my guess, my gut feeling, if you will, is that that's probably not going to be hugely market moving. We've taken a look at the Fed Watch tool, which we're going to cover here in a sec. Not a whole lot of change in there. We kind of all are expecting the same thing in Powell's last 2 meetings here. So I would agree. I think that the PCE print is probably going to be our biggest macro data point, or biggest data point here this week. And we got to wait till Friday until we get that. The 10-year Treasury bond yielded 4.07%, and the 2-year bond was at 3.45%. The CME Group's Fed Watch tool is pricing in a 92.1% likelihood that we hold interest rates at the next meeting, which is in March. Now, we have several stocks in focus here for you today. The first one here is Celanese. Ticker on this one is CE. And it soared 5.94% despite posting downbeat earnings for the fourth quarter. However, the outlook was positive, as the company said it sees first quarter adjusted earnings of 70 to 85 cents per share versus the estimate of 89 cents per share. So it was actually under, and the stock was still up. Really quickly, Q4 adjusted EPS of 67 cents missed the 91 cent estimate, and sales of 2.204 billion missed the 2.256 billion estimate. The next stock on our list is Ovintiv. The ticker here is OVV. That rose 4.17% after it announced a definitive agreement to sell its Anadarko assets in Oklahoma for $3 billion in cash. The next stock on our list is Tactile Systems Technology. The ticker on this one is TCMD, and it surged 23.53% after reporting fourth quarter earnings and forecasting revenue between $357 million and $365 million for 2026. That reflects an anticipated growth of 8 to 11%, despite potential challenges from Medicare's new prior authorization agreements. Tactile Systems Tech Q4 EPS was of 46 cents. That beat the estimate of 44 cents. And sales were 103.595 million. That beat the estimate of 93.804 million. The next stock on our list here is Palo Alto, and this was the big report of the night yesterday. The ticker on Palo Alto is PANW. It tumbled 7.34% after the cybersecurity firm lowered its fiscal 2026 full-year profit guidance to a range of $365 to $370 per share, overshadowing a quarterly earnings beat and an upward revision of its annual revenue outlook. So Palo Alto Q2 adjusted EPS of 103 beat the 94-cent estimate, and sales of 2.594 billion beat the estimate of 2.582 billion. Palo Alto sees adjusted Q3 EPS of 78 cents to 80 cents. That was versus the 92-cent estimate. And they see sales of 2.941 billion to 2.945 billion. That was versus the estimate of 2.603 billion. It lowered its full year 26 adjusted EPS guidance from 380 to 390 to 365 to 370, as we outlined. That was versus the 386 estimate. And it raises its full year 26 sales guidance from 10.5 billion to 10.54 billion to 11.28 to 11.31 billion versus the estimate. Now, the reason for that is because of the increased costs of memory. They cited this in their earnings report. The last stock that we have on our list here is going to be DoorDash. The ticker here is Dash, D-A-S-H. It was up 0.3% as analysts expect it to post quarterly earnings of 59 cents per share on revenue of 3.99 billion, and that report comes after the closing bell today. All right, let's take a look at the SPY chart, and it is still the same as we've been looking at the past several weeks here. My question today is, it sure looks like we've held the 100-day over the past couple of days here. It sure looks like the market is trying to bounce from these levels, which sets up a potential test and recapture of the 50-day and the 20-day moving average. So those values, the 50-day moving average is going to be first at 687.32. The 20-day moving average is slightly above that at 689.10. So if we can recapture those levels, perhaps we can move to the top end of the channel here. We are all kind of waiting for this move to 700 on the SPY, and we'll assess what happens there. Do we actually take the next leg higher? Do we push through and take the next leg higher? Or do we do what we've been doing since October, really, and trade back down to the bottom end of the range? Do we compress more, or do we fall out of bed here? So this is what I'm going to be looking at here today. Definitely want to see if this rally continues, and better still, if it continues on volume. Now let's take a look at some insights from analysts to get you ready for the day here. Adam Turnquist, Chief Technical Strategist at LPL Financial, expects the U.S. stock market and the economy to remain resilient despite a significant shift in market narrative. Market narratives, those pesky market narratives. He notes that widespread anxiety over artificial intelligence bubble has transitioned into fears of industry-level disruption, particularly within the software sector. And we spoke at great lengths yesterday on this on Happy Hour. We've been talking about software names and what the future holds for them. A lot of those names taking a beating, even stalwarts like Microsoft and CRM really taking a beating here. And I think that the overall consensus is that, well, AI is definitely going to disrupt this industry. It's not going to necessarily make these stalwarts just disappear, certainly not make them disappear overnight. And for us as traders, then, this sets up a potential buy the dip opportunity. I'd like to know from the group here, what is your favorite software name? Is it Microsoft, or is it something like Snow or something like CRM? What is your favorite software name that has been pretty beaten down that you would be interested in taking a long side trade on if it turns around? I think there are a lot of charts out there that we're kind of waiting for this to happen on. So I'd like to get some opinions from the group here on what you like and what you're looking for and what's on your list in case we do create a bottom here. Nonetheless, Turnquist views the recent severe selling pressure, which software stocks reached historically oversold levels, as a potentially overtly punitive re-rating given that broader fundamentals remain supportive. Regarding the economy, Turnquist points to an ongoing cyclical strength that is generally consistent with an improving economy and rising risk appetite. He notes that LPL's base case is no recession for 2026. That's my base case, too, in case anyone cares about that. Bolstered by anticipated fiscal stimulus and productivity gains from AI deployment. However, he remains cautious of occasional bouts of volatility. We have heard this from our analysts, and we have heard this from the traders that we have brought on here, too. It seems everybody is expecting this at some point here today. Really, the only thing that varies is the time frames, which I think is normal. He remains cautious of occasional bouts of volatility and is monitoring recent tilts towards risk aversion as big tech cools. Despite these jitters, he maintains that the broad market's long-term uptrend remains intact. Now, let's talk a little bit about Bitcoin and perhaps our favorite Bitcoin holder. I say favorite here because generates a lot of discussion on both sides for the group here. Jamie Dimon, looking at you if you're out of bed yet here. Michael Saylor calls the current crypto winter mild and predicts that the spring is in the air and it's followed by a glorious summer. Now, I got news for Michael Saylor here. It is definitely going to be a glorious summer and has absolutely nothing to do with Bitcoin. I learned that in my golf swing, if I pull my hands down quicker, I'm actually going to get more club heads. Okay, I know you guys don't care about that. Summer's going to be glorious no matter what happens with Bitcoin here. Michael Saylor thinks that a big bounce and perhaps a bigger run is coming. Strategy Executive Chair Michael Saylor said on Tuesday that the ongoing crypto winter feels milder than past ones and will soon give way to a spring followed by a glorious summer. During an interview with Fox Business, Saylor responded to a question about the current state of the market. Quote, "This is a much milder winter than previous winters," end quote. He goes on to say, "It'll be shorter than previous winters, and it's going to be followed by a spring and then a glorious summer." So right there, before we go through the rest of this, for any of you folks that are into Bitcoin, want to get into Bitcoin, or simply just trade Bitcoin because of its volatility, let me know what you think about this. And let me know if you are thinking about buying this in the area that we're in now. And if not, what area is it that you're going to need to see? To at least, I don't necessarily think that you need to turn bullish on Bitcoin as a whole, but what would serve as an entry trigger from Bitcoin following all of this? When pressed on why he's so confident, Saylor pointed out that institutions like banks are backing Bitcoin much more strongly than they did years ago. Quote, "We've got the formation of digital credit networks, banking credit networks. We've got the support of the administration. We've got a Bitcoin president," end quote, he added, referring to President Trump. Saylor said that new advances in digital space are happening every month, bringing more capital to the asset class. And I'll say that that's kind of one of the big things for me. I rely on you folks quite a bit. I'm definitely on X for this. I read a lot about this stuff. Some of the stuff that I read, I actually don't understand, but I'm trying to gain nuggets from it. What are some of these new advances that are really going to change things? And day trader, I hate to single you out again, but if you have any ideas here, or any new advances that you think are happening that are bullish, that you're bullish on, I'd like to know specifically what those things are. Taking a look here, I'll take the golf tips. I'm sorry, I was just kidding. Day trader says late 2027 at the soonest is when you're going to, I was asking when you think crypto bounces and makes a run. So you're thinking, boy, not for a while. We've got some time here. Late 2027 before it maybe turns back up and goes towards those highs. That's interesting. I knew I was going to ask you this question going into the show here today. So I fully admit, I actually thought your time frame was going to be a little bit sooner, but that's why I ask. And I think that's extremely interesting. Corey says BTC is a great buy. I think it could still hit 48K. It's holding above 60 pretty well, and I agree with Saylor in the premise of the glorious summer here. Okay, and then day trader, to answer my very direct question yet again, I appreciate the speed in which you're doing this. I don't think there are new advances to be bullish about right now. Okay, we'll keep that here. We'll keep that under our hat, if you will. Nonetheless, anyway, I appreciate you indulging me there. Just some guy says, I'm sorry, I just don't trust Bitcoin because it's effectively a marker of nothing. Stocks at least have a marker of ownership in a piece of a company. First of all, you do not have to be sorry. This show welcomes differing opinions here as long as everyone stays cordial towards one another. So you definitely don't have to apologize about that. Again, keep those opinions coming. The variety and the diversity of opinions is going to raise the tide for everyone else here. Wow, day traders actually flipped bearish. We'll get some more on that later on. Let me keep going here so that we're not too late before we get to Tim Melvin here. Saylor also expressed confidence in the resilience of his Bitcoin hoarding company. Bitcoin hoarding, not holding. Quote, the company's balance sheet is a fortress. So he's taking the page out of the Jamie Dimon and Jim Cramer book. The company's balance sheet is a fortress. We are fairly indestructible. So I read that quote from Saylor, and I thought, oh my gosh, there are a bunch of basement dwellers out there that just said challenge accepted. And they are going to try to drive this thing down. I can't wait to see how this shakes out. Very easy for me to say, considering I don't hold a micro strategy position or strategy, I beg your pardon. Bitcoin can fall to any level, he says. It won't make much difference to us, end quote. Strategy now holds 714,644 Bitcoin at an average cost of $76,056. With Bitcoin trading near $67,000, the company's holdings are underwater, triggering anxiety among investors. Moreover, Strategy's market valuation stands at $42.9 billion, while its Bitcoin holdings are valued at $48 billion. LOL. However, Saylor has brushed off the downturn, stating that even at $8,000 per Bitcoin, Strategy's holdings would fully cover its debt. Earlier this month, he said that the company would convert its convertible debt into equity over the next 3 to 6 years. At the time of this writing, Bitcoin was exchanging hands at about 67,000 and change, which was down 2.89% over the last 24 hours. You'll also notice that our proprietary rankings that we have, Mr. Melvin, it has no intact short, medium, or long-term trend and a very, very low momentum score. All right, I do have some NVIDIA news here that I wanted to get out of the way real quick. NVIDIA does expand its India partnership amid a $1 billion national AI initiative focused on sovereign models, startup funding, and research. NVIDIA is expanding its footprint in India through government, academic, and venture capital partners with a $1 billion AI push. On Tuesday, it detailed its collaboration supporting the India AI mission, a national program investing more than $1 billion to boost computing capacity, develop sovereign data sets, and build frontier AI models and applications. NVIDIA is working with the Anusardhan National Research Foundation. I hope I didn't butcher that, too bad. A statutory body that fosters research and development to accelerate AI research in science and engineering. Under the partnership, select institutions will receive complimentary access to NVIDIA's AI enterprise software and technical mentorship through NVIDIA's AI Technology Center, along with boot camps and hackathons aimed at expanding research capabilities. The Jensen Huang-led company is also collaborating with leading venture firms, including Peak, XV Partners, and Accel India, to identify and support high-potential AI startups. More than 4,000 Indian startups are already a part of NVIDIA's Inception program. The move follows reports last month that Taiwan's government approved NVIDIA's plans to invest about 3.3 billion new Taiwanese dollars, or 105 million in USD, in a new headquarters on the island. At the same time, the Trump administration is urging NVIDIA to focus U.S.-based manufacturing and domestic priorities. President Trump has repeatedly stressed the importance of bringing chip production back to the U.S. for both national security and job growth. Huang canceled his planned appearance at the ongoing India AI Impact Summit at the last minute On Tuesday, during a press briefing, when asked why Huang canceled his trip, Vishal Dupar, managing director for South Asia at NVIDIA, explained that the CEO has been traveling for 3 consecutive weeks and has simply fallen ill. We wish him a speedy recovery. Quote, he's under the weather, end quote. Dupar said, adding that they are thrilled to have Jay Puri, Executive Vice President of Worldwide Field Operations, to lead delegation in India. Now, NVIDIA's proprietary edge rankings here look quite good. 68th percentile in momentum, 94th percentile in growth, 96th percentile in quality, and still kind of low on the value score there. One more thing here, just kind of a general thing. President Trump announced on Tuesday that the first $36 billion in Japanese-funded infrastructure and industrial projects have officially been approved, marking the operational launch of a massive $550 billion investment pact. The announcement, delivered via True Social, signals the beginning of a multi-year commitment from Tokyo to revitalize the American industrial base. Quote, Japan is now officially and financially moving forward with the first set of investments under its $550 billion commitment to invest in the United States of America, end quote. Japanese Prime Minister I always get this wrong, Takaishi, praised the milestone, stating that the initiatives embody a mutual benefit designed to enhance economic security for both nations. The deal, originally brokered in July of 2025 and picked on by some of those folks that are impatient, serves as a reciprocal agreement. Japan commits over $500 billion to strategic U.S. sectors in exchange for the Trump administration's reducing baseline tariffs on Japanese imports, most notably automobiles, from 25 to 15%. U.S. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick confirmed the first tranche includes 3 tremendous projects estimated at $36 billion, as per the White House fact sheet. The initiatives are designed to bolster domestic energy and high-tech supply chains. A $33 billion natural gas-fired power plant in Portsmouth, Ohio, is set to be the largest in U.S. history, generating 9.2 gigawatts of electricity to power homes and AI data centers. In Texas, a $2.1 billion deepwater crude oil export facility in the Gulf of Mexico, I think it's the Gulf of America, isn't it? Expected to drive $20 billion to $30 billion in annual U.S. exports. And in Georgia, a $600 million synthetic industrial diamond plant aimed at ending foolish dependence on foreign sources for materials vital to semiconductors and precision manufacturing. Trump credited the administration's trade policy for the massive capital inflow. Quote, the scale of these projects are so large and could not be done without one very special word, tariffs, end quote. Under the Memorandum of Understanding, an investment committee chaired by Lutnick recommends projects while Japan provides feasibility input. The agreement includes a unique profit-sharing structure where the U.S. will eventually retain 90% of generated cash flows after initial costs are recovered. The launch comes just weeks before Japanese Prime Minister Takaishi is scheduled to visit the White House, which happens on March 19th. March 19th. So we'll see how that affects everything. Okay, I got a couple of minutes before Tim here. So I did want to cover one more thing. It has been a saga. And folks, it's not over yet. Yep, you know what I'm talking about. The Netflix Warner Brothers Discovery saga. Gary Black says Netflix will emerge as the victor in the takeover bid and sees the stock rebounding to 100 even if Paramount wins. Now, this is important because we've been talking about where's the bottom in NVIDIA, where do we buy Netflix, where do we buy Netflix, how long is this going to take, what's going to happen here. Gary Black giving you some thoughts on that. Analyst Gary Black believes Netflix holds the upper hand in the escalating takeover battle for Warner Brothers Discovery, arguing that the streaming giant's stronger strategic synergies position it to ultimately prevail over rival bidder Paramount Skydance. On Tuesday, Black wrote on X that he expects Netflix to, quote, emerge as victor, end quote, in the contest. However, he added that even in a scenario where Paramount succeeds in clinching the deal, Netflix shares could rebound towards $100, a level last seen on December 5th. On the same day, Netflix agreed to acquire Warner Brothers, the studio assets, and HBO Max from Warner Brothers Discovery for $27.75 per share, contingent on the company's planned spinoff of its cable networks. Now, for anyone that wants to go through any of the charts or any of Gary's other tweets here, I'll throw a link to the story in the chat. This news follows Warner Brothers' rejection of Paramount's latest hostile takeover bid on Tuesday, giving the company until February 23rd to submit its best and final offer. Paramount had formerly floated a high offer of $31 per share, a move that appeared to appeal to the Warner Brothers board. This offer can be matched by Netflix under the terms of the merger agreement. That was stated by Warner Brothers. Netflix stock has been under pressure amid high-stakes bidding war, hitting a new 52-week low of 75.23 on February 12th. Selling pressure intensified after activist investor Ancora Holdings revealed a $200 million stake in Warner Brothers Discovery and said it would oppose Netflix's $82.7 billion takeover bid in favor of Paramount's competing $30 per share offer. Investor sentiment was further dampened by regulatory concerns, which we talked about quite a bit here, with the Justice Department reportedly probing potential anti-competitive practices and issuing a civil subpoena to examine whether Netflix engaged in exclusionary conduct to maintain monopoly power. So Netflix here, I know this is a big one that folks are looking for. I would still like to get a varying opinions from the group. I know where some of you sit in terms of dollar cost averaging and where the bottom is. But I just got to say, victory lap for the group here really said that you can wait this out, right? You can wait out this deal, get more information before making a trade. And it sure looks like that's the case. What Up Doe says Netflix looks tempting. Look, you are not alone in that. I think probably almost everyone in this chat is at least got one eye on Netflix. Thinking about where can they buy that? Where does it make sense? Really quick before we go to Tim, let's just take a quick look at the chart here. Here's what we're looking at on the daily. It is holding this area here. I think we talked about it maybe coming in towards 70. Yeah, this consolidation area back from 2024 is next. That aligns with a pretty good size high volume node on our volume profile. So we'll see if it continues to fall off or if it holds here in the mid 70 handle. All right. It's Wednesday. It's one of the best days of the week, and in no small part because we bring on Tim Melvin. Let's see what kind of sass and information he's got for us today. Tim, good morning. Happy Wednesday, my man. How you doing?
Hey, guys, I am doing great. I got my Orioles shirt on. First spring training games this week. Our pitching staff looks good. Pacoda's got us at 83. I think we surprised to the upside. I think we at least make the playoffs, maybe a deep run in the playoffs this year.
Amazing. So, oh, man.
Super excited.
You blew that. Hang on. You blew that out of the water. So, first of all, I love the shirt. It's not even a Cubs shirt, and I absolutely love it. I love the energy there. Who had this on their bingo card? Tim Melvin shows up and gives out a futures sports bet to the group. Yep. I definitely did not have that on my bingo card here today, Tim, but I'll take it.
Now, let me ask you guys something. I just want to ask you, which one of you guys wants to get into the ring and fight Tyson Fury today, right now? No training, bullshit. Just get in there. None of you, right? So why are you going up against every ARB, activist, special situation trader, and billionaire on Wall Street and trying to game Netflix? Right? There's easier ways to make the money, folks, because this deal is so tied up at the DOJ. You've got the administration involved. You've got, just making noise about it. Everybody's got positions. Don't vote against Ancora. There's some pretty sharp operators, right? Sit around, wait for these morons to get done punching each other. That's what's going to happen, right? And there's going to be a flush. Somebody's going to lose, and that's the stock you buy.
Oh, man. We got it. We got it all. We got sports bets. We got hot takes. We got sound effects. We got 6 shirts, Tim. This one's going to be tough to It's going to be tough to top.
It's going to be tough, but the shirts are back, guys, because it's warm here now, so you can break out some of our better shirts. I'm hyped. I'm ready to go.
I'll tell you what, Tim. I'm glad your temperature finally crawled above 40. You were roughing it out there in the Carolinas. All jokes aside here, real quick, Dara, to answer your question. They'd fight Tyson Fury if they're getting paid. Cam wants to know how much is he going to get paid before he gets his face flattened.
Yeah, I mean, where are we sending the money? I mean, widow, kids, who's getting the cash?
Brian, I appreciate the honesty. I'll get in there with Fury, but I'm going for a groin kick. And we have a new nickname for you.
Groin
Tim's
kick.
terrific mustache Melvin.
Well, okay, I didn't realize it was all that terrific. But here's a secret that not too many people know. Never shave my upper lip, Brian. Never.
Okay.
I would have to have a surgeon do this now. I mean, I don't know.
Okay. Noted.
So look,
Noted.
couple quick studies. I sent you the links. We're just going to hit these.
Oh.
We're going to do these at 80,000 feet, okay? Because I want to get into some more fun stuff this morning. But there's one on the dividend anomaly, and this one's kind of cool because these guys went in and they took a look at dividends and compounding, and they found that most investors do not appreciate the compounding value of a high dividend. High dividend stocks usually are industrials, REITs, MLPs, things that people tend to ignore because they don't go up 100%, right? They're not going to make you rich by next Tuesday. But the compounding effect of these things is dramatically undervalued by most people. But where this gets interesting, Ryan, is it's undervalued to the point of to an extreme point in less sophisticated markets. So looking in emerging and lower level developed markets where they do not appreciate compounding at all. So you're looking at maybe Argentina, Chile, Brazil, countries like that, where there's dividends, right? There's tons of dividends. And so there's opportunities to reinvest these dividends and compound at very high rates of return. It's a very cool study. It's got some pretty cool implications. So I thought I wanted to share that with you this morning for those of you that are interested and actually understand that, if you get a 6, 7, 8% dividend and you compound that every year, especially using some forced dollar cost averaging, so you tend to buy more shares when it's lower, that can really add up to, a lot of cash over time.
Yeah. So real quick here, this is exactly what I do with this ticker. And you've talked about this before. You've talked about Starwood here before. This is exactly what I do with this. I reinvest the dividends. I buy more of it. I add to it when it's low, and it has worked out.
Yeah, no, Starwood has paid the same dividend since 2000, 2002, somewhere in there. It's every time the stock gets down to where it's yielding 10%, and it's there now, you need to be a buyer. This guy, Barry Sternlicht, is one of the best real estate investors of the last 100 years. Okay. Not only is he good, he's trained a lot of people. So you're investing here. You own some hotels, you own some net lease properties, you own some medical office buildings. You also have a very large lending portfolio with very little office, but you're in the US, you're in Europe. And again, just not much office exposure, real estate lending. You've got a little bit of a mortgage business. You've got an infrastructure finance business now. All right. And then if it all goes boom, they have one of the bigger distressed and special servicing businesses in the country. So you're a beneficiary from that. So just letting this compound, 10, 12% a year, and your compounding dollar is going to buy more on times when the stock is down like now. Over a long period of time, this is just going to work out really well for you. So
yeah, good. Glad I'm playing it right. Really quickly regarding the studies that you sent over here, folks, I know last time we had these, I actually posted links for you folks. These studies are PDFs. So if you want copies of them, I'm happy to distribute them for Tim, but you're going to have to email me. There's no way I can post it here in the chat. So if you want any of these, they're both PDFs. Let me know. Shoot me an email. I threw it in the chat.
And Wisdom's Joint Vici, VICI, Vici Properties is a prime. This is a great dividend paying REIT. They own casinos. They own property in Las Vegas. They're one of the better, casino REITs, and that's just such a great business. And they're a dividend growth machine. So that is a great pick in the REIT space for that. So
okay, there you go.
Now the next one is something, and this is the driving theory. And I collect these because they just prove my point, and I like it when people agree with me because it proves they're smart. Can't believe y'all let me get away with that, but
look, I'm just gonna. You've been on fire here today, so I'm gonna let you keep rolling with it.
Okay, so we've got a study that says don't mix what should be separated. Why combining value and momentum signals destroy alpha, right? Now, and this is everybody wants to do this. Okay, we're going to buy value stocks that have momentum. We're going to buy the least expensive momentum stocks on various value ranking. You destroy your alpha when you do that, when you combine them.
Tim,
So
don't you often talk about having two separate buckets instead of combining them?
that's exactly what the point of the study.
Got
You
it.
do it. You
Sorry
do it
for
in
slicing through all that.
You do it in two separate buckets, right? So you have the twin, and we use twin momentum, fundamental plus
Mm-hmm.
price
Mm-hmm.
momentum, so that you've got that sleeve working for you. So you have the best of the best, because the best momentum stocks are not going to look cheap, right? And the cheapest momentum stocks are not going to have the best fundamental momentum. So, and same thing, when you get over to value stocks that have momentum are no longer going to be the cheapest stocks. So you want to have the strongest and you want to have the cheapest. You want to have them in separate sleeves and let them run. That is exactly what we do in trade alerts. Okay. And then, of course, Anne Marie
Awesome.
comes in. We have the accelerator where Anne Marie comes in and we wrap some options in some very cool ways around that. But the study, and again, I sent you a link, just kind of goes through and it does all of the math, shows you
Mm-hmm.
that, putting them in the same sleeve, you're going to earn higher returns. Here's the coolest part about it and why, I think that everybody should be doing this. Yes, you should be subscribing to trade alerts, but even if you're doing all your own work, you should do you should do this, right? When value is hot, momentum is cold. When momentum is
Mm-hmm.
cold, value is hot. They're both going from here to here, the top of the mountain, high long-term returns. Okay. So, but they're taking different paths. So when we put them together, we take two volatile strategies and we tend to smooth out the volatility a little bit without changing the ultimate destination, right? So value sleeve, momentum sleeve, it is absolutely the right way to manage your long-term portfolio. And I'm going to take the question on Jeppy because Jeppy is a perennial underperformer. If you really want to do the preferred stock thing, let me just pull Jeppy up here. It's a premium income fund. If you're looking, I hate cover call funds to start with. Just hate.
Why? Out of curiosity, why do you not like them?
They don't perform. They're terrible performers, right? Over time.
Okay.
Most of these guys are writing writing options over the index. They're using option writing strategies. They're giving away the farm, right? So if what you're looking for is just a great big fat stream of income that's coming in all the time, you're better off buying like PFFA, the U.S. Preferred Stock ETF from the guys at Infrastructure Capital. It's 9.25%. And Jay Hatfield sit there. Jay and I, we're brothers from another mother, man. I mean, we're cousins in somewhere in genetics. Because he just sits there and he buys preferreds based on the credit. When they trade below par, he picks up a position, collects the cash. When they trade back to par, he sells them. And this thing just sits there, continually raising the dividend, sending out 9.28%. You're going to do better than that with the covered call fund. Because here's the problem with Jeppy and other covered call funds is you're going to collect dividends, you're going to give away the upside, right, to a very large degree.
Mm-hmm.
When the market goes boom, you are going boom with it. Right, so the track record of most of covered calls funds has just been horrible. They really haven't done much at all.
Okay. There you go, JJ. Some bonus for you. There's your opinion.
Yeah, there's your opinion. If you want to do something that's going to reinvest, use Starwood, use Avicii, use a PFFA, which is just preferred stocks, which one of the most understood and least appreciated asset classes out there. You can make a ton of money in preferred stocks if you pay attention to the credit and the pricing of these things. So now let's move on to the fun part of the day. 13F deadline was yesterday. If you're a money manager, you had to get your form in. Everybody's there. They went through them. They looked. I like CGBD, by the way. It's a Carlisle BDC. We're getting slowly but surely very bullish on BDCs. We'll do a whole show on that another time because it's a whole show. It's a whole show. 13S, we all know what Warren Buffett's successors bought. We're up to date on what Cathie Woods did. We know what Bill Ackman did. We know what Stanley Druckenmiller did because it's everywhere in the headlines, right? And I went, who cares? Really? I mean, seriously? I mean, you guys all have the same goals as a 80-year-old billionaire, right?
No,
I mean, you want to lose as much money as Kathy Woods has lost? No, probably not.
no, not
Okay. Well,
particularly.
I'm,
No.
I'm gonna take that back. Kathy didn't have to get the fees back. Kathy, when she's hot, she makes a lot of money. When she's cold, she loses a lot of money. Just have absolutely kind of no interest in that because I can do better without it. Now, let's get in to the real magic of 13 Fs for individual investors. Okay. You don't have to do what everybody else does, right? When Bill Ackman's 13F comes out, 20 million eyeballs hit it right there, right? And they're all buying the stocks, trying to get in on the Ackman magic. And it was the same with Michael Burry when he filed one, and Icon and Buffett and Ballpost. If they're big and they're famous and everybody knows about them, it's probably too late, right? It's like Druckenmiller. Druckenmiller is the best investor of our time. Do you know how many people looked at that and cloned that yesterday? The stocks that he bought. So, and by the way, he changes on a dime. So by that 13F
Pepper
is,
too, it seems. We saw that, I think, last year with Baba.
Yes, Tepper does trade on a dime. They all do. Tepper you can actually do a little bit better with because he tends to have more of a value instinct. But these 13Fs are as of the end of the quarter, right? So it's like Louis Navellier, one of the best investors ever, right? Louis' turnover is outrageous. I mean, if it stops working, Louis out, right? It was the same with William O'Neill. Tight stops. If it's working or it's not. If it's not working, it's gone. So 45 days later to look at that report is almost worthless, or pretty damn close to worthless. So
pretty stale at that point.
Yeah, it's really stale at that point. It's not useful. So, but remember the study we talked about a couple of weeks, right? The most consistently successful investors have the lowest turnover ratios. So all we have to do is find those investors that are earning very high rates of return with low turnover rates, and we can clone them. Now, yeah, that's a little bit of work. Fortunately, I've done it, and I've been doing it for over 30 years, right? We kind of know who the best guys are, the ones with absolutely no turnover to speak of. And it's not just value. There's tech guys with very low turnover. Whale Rock is a great example. Whale Rock Capital, just minimal turnover. They've had stocks for 10, 11, 12 years. That's why when they have, and let's just see if they have any. We're just going to pull these up live here because I haven't looked at Whale Rock yet. But they've done, in the neighborhood of 20% a year for an extremely long time. They hold stocks. And again, they do the weeding out thing, right? If it's working, they keep it. And they just keep it in the portfolio, and then they compound it and do its magic trick. So we can steal from them. Okay, that's the wrong ones. I'm looking at that, going, wow, guys got a lot of short-term bonds in there, man. Where'd that come from? By the way, it's worth noting that KKR and Apollo were both big buyers of debt securities, again, indicating that they're not doing a lot. So we go in here and we look at Whale Rock. Let's just see. Okay. Just Google. They've been involved in Google for like a decade now. That they just owned it and kind of let it go. So here's their new positions this time around. WLTH, which is Wealthfront. They were a buyer of that, and these guys are fabulous tech investors. New positions in something called MACOM, MTSI. I don't know that one at all.
We looked at this one the other day. I want to say I can't place it, but I'm pretty sure we looked at this.
And they also, I don't know how long they've had this. I don't think too long because since the last quarter of second quarter, they've got something called JFrog, FROG, which is a DevOps platform that does software packaging at any scale. So anyway, this is just something, relatively new positions that some of the very best long-term tech investors have been buying. So we can use that information, right? We know they didn't buy this to trade it. But now here's the one that everybody should be stealing from, and none of y'all are going to, because I've been telling people about this firm for just an extraordinary long time. And this is Donald Smith and Company, right? And Donald Smith and Company was
what was the ticker?
No, this is a stock.
Okay,
not a stock. This is a firm.
An actual firm.
Firm, yeah. Donald Smith and Company's been around since the 70s, right? And it was started obviously by Donald Smith. He passed away a few years ago. Donald Smith is a extreme deep value guy like myself. He will only buy stocks in the bottom 10% of stocks as by tangible book value. Okay. And they're rigorous. It's almost a religion now. And the guys that run the firm currently adhere to that religion. So super cheap stocks only. Now, he's been sitting here. Nobody pays any attention to him because how boring is that, right? My God, book value, that doesn't matter. That's about as relevant as, I don't know, the Pittsburgh Pirates. It doesn't matter anymore.
Let's go.
Let's go. All right, we're off. But when you go back and you look at this portfolio a couple of years ago, right? And you look at what was he buying? All the gold miners were trading under book value, right? He was buying them hand over fist. How do you think that worked out?
Pretty good.
Not bad. So just owning his 20 top positions has compounded, at over 15% a year for this extraordinary long amount of time. I mean, like since the 1970s. So his investors have done extraordinarily well. They don't do CNBC. They don't advertise. They don't market. They're aware that value doesn't scale. So if they suddenly got $100 billion in, they couldn't do this anymore. So they don't want that. They just want to sit there. They've got their own money in it. They've got clients in it, and they just let it compound away. Now, worth noting, they bought a lot of real estate this quarter. They bought RLJ, which is RLJ Lodging Trust. That's hotels, motels. They bought into Park Hotels, one of my favorite. That stock is just super cheap.
What was the ticker?
PK.
PK?
Mm-hmm. I'm just kind of going through here. They bought more Harley Davidson. Love that. Harley Davidson trading below book. And the problem with Harley is Harley riders got old, right? So they've got to figure out how to appeal to a whole new class of American buyer, which is going to take them some time, but I think they'll figure it out. And it is the great American manufacturing story, right? Because they still do a lot of the manufacturing here in the United States. A new buy here is West Fraser Timber Company, which I think is set to do.
What's the ticker on that?
This is WFG. It's trading
WFG.
$72, little dividend there. It's lumber and engineered wood products, but if we're going to build the number of homes that we need to successfully solve the housing crisis, well, I think they might do pretty well. So that's one worth taking a look at. So looking for super cheap stock ideas, quality cheap stock ideas, Donald Smith is one of those places where you should just always turn, right? Because they're there. They've got this fabulous track record of picking winners. They're long-term. They're patient. So you don't need to worry that they traded out of this overnight or something crazy like that.
Okay.
And then Bruce Caxton, Caxton Advisors Associates, I think we all know who they are. They were in the Market Wizards books. Caxton Associates owns them. I'm just looking for the right, got the wrong one there. And the reason I pull this one up, he's one of the greatest trend followers of all time. He made an absolute fortune. But he's also committed a lot of money to biotech, an area where I'm terrible.
Mm-hmm.
And they have just home run after home run after home run on the biotech. So for those of you that, like me, realize that there is a massive potential in biotech, but I don't know how to uncover it. His latest buys were XFOR.
Oh my gosh, we've traded that one a whole bunch.
Yeah. IKT.
Okay.
And SYRE.
SYRE. Boy, I feel like all of these are pretty inexpensive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that's interesting. Here, I'm actually going to screenshot this for some notes. Boop. Okay.
And then another guy that just flies around, compounded 15% plus off the radar screens is a guy named Robert Rabizadeh, again out of New York, long history of success as a value investor. he's worth checking out. And he's making big bets on housing here. Okay. He's got 5 Point Holdings, which is a favorite. We love that one there. I mean, you got to love 5 Point, right? Because they're not just in real estate, the most hated business in the world. They're doing residential development. We hate that business. They're doing residential development in California. So,
Oh man.
right. So all we need is the Genovese family involved a little bit, a little embezzlement. And this is like the perfect stock at that point, right? So, but yeah, they're buying
Not touching
buildings.
that one.
Yeah. Peter Lynch once said that he loves a dirty business that nobody understands that has rumors of mafia involvement.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Not
So
surprised he said that.
yeah. Right. So yeah, he's got Builders First Source. He's got Westlake. He's got a bunch going on here, but he's got one that he's got AMRZ, a recent spinoff of building supplies that we're big fans of. He's got another one in here that we are huge fans of. That's Millrose Properties. Millrose Properties is the coolest REIT out there, in my opinion, right? They do land and neighborhood development. They purchase large for like a neighborhood, right? You're going to build a neighborhood. They've got the land, they do the financing, they do the prep work. This thing's paying about 8%. It was a spinoff. Everybody kind of promptly ignored it, but Rabizadeh's been a buyer, and so has the last person that I want to talk to you about. So it's Robotti. You should be reading his.
Okay.
Now, the last one is a guy named Glenn Greenwald. And Glenn Greenwald has been around forever. He founded Chieftain Capital back in the early 80s. They compounded, again, between 15 and 20%. He and his partner split the sheets, went their separate ways. He started Brave Warrior Advisors. So Chieftain, Brave Warrior, obviously, guys, he's got something going on with the Indians. Great backstory on this guy. His mom's family owned Gimbel's department store for Miracle on 34th Street. His dad is Hank Greenberg, the baseball player.
Okay. So pretty connected.
Yeah. Pretty connected. Greenberg was just an absolute superstar home run hitter back in the time when Jewish baseball players were very unusual in the major leagues. So Brave Warrior just sits here. There's not a lot of turnover in this portfolio, like 11% annually in the whole portfolio. They just sit here and they compound year in, year out. He may be one of the best long-term kind of value focused guys on the planet. He certainly he holds stocks forever, right? 3, 4, 5 years, not 3, 4, 5 minutes, years, I said. So he was also a big buyer of Millrose Properties. He's buying One Main Holdings in here. He's buying Sally Mae. He's also buying Builder. He's buying Lennar. So you're starting to see some of the value guys come around and get real interested in the long-term housing story, because this is one of those things, right? We can ignore it. We can kick the can down the road. We can play what if with 50-year mortgages and a lot of other dumb stuff. The truth of the matter is housing's local. The federal government can't do anything here but talk and encourage, right? We've got to get down. We've got to change local zoning laws. We've got to change density regulations. We've got to make it easier and more profitable to build smaller homes. Right? Now, this is something that's got to be figured out. But when it gets figured out, the builders, the financiers, the suppliers are all going to make lots and lots of money. And you're starting to see the value guys go, that thing's at 7 times free cash flow and less than asset value. Why don't I stroll over and pick up a few shares? So, and then finally, I just want to throw this one out there. They are also buying MPLX. It is an MLP. You will get a K1. You cannot buy it in your IRA. It is this great collection of pipelines and natural gas storage facilities and asphalt and refined petroleum products. They supply water to the frackers and drillers. They've got transporting systems. If it's involved in getting oil, gas, and natural gas liquids from here to here, they're involved, right? That is one of the best businesses in the world, has been for a very long time. It's all on long-term contracts. The price of oil and gas may go up, it may go down. Whatever happens, we're going to use a lot of it, right? And there's going to be new pipelines built to the Gulf region to facilitate LNG export trade. MPLX will be a player, and one of the smartest guys on the planet's buying the stock.
What a chart, too. I mean, what a chart.
There's a little bit of momentum flavor to these things. And guys, look, I know you're told all the time, don't buy the MLPs, the K1s. Oh, they're such a nightmare. Tax. Stop. Just stop. Just don't buy them in your IRA, but understand something. These things reduce your capital costs, right? So they return a capital, most of the dividends. You're not going to pay tax on most of this stuff until you completely got all your capital back. And then you're going to be paying it as long-term capital gains. Shut up and pay your accountant. These things are great. All right. And your accountant, he's got kids in school, for goodness sakes. Pay the man. So, but don't be so afraid of MLPs. They get a bad rap on Wall Street. You can actually make a lot of money with them.
Okay.
All right.
There you go.
My time is up. So there we got it. It is officially baseball season. 13 Fs. Ignore the big headlines. Look for, go where nobody else is going. That's always been the secret to money on Wall Street. Go where nobody else is going.
Indeed, and I appreciate you helping us out with that. I got to say, when you joined here, I was like, man, Tim is smiling more than usual here today. Should have dawned on me that it was the start of baseball season. Tim's all fired up about it. I love it.
They asked Rogers Hornsby one time. He said, what do you do? What do you do for fun? He said, well, I play baseball. He says, what do you do when it's not baseball season? He says, well, I sit at the kitchen table and I drink coffee and I look out the window and I wait for baseball season. Pretty much the same thing, guys. Here we go.
All right. Sounds good, Tim.
Baseball's back. The shirts are back. We're ready to go. You can find some great ideas digging through those 13 Fs that I gave you this morning. So do that. Have a great day, a great week. Stay profitable, stay warm, stay safe, and have a good one.
I love that you helped us out with it, Tim. Thank you as always. We'll talk to you next Wednesday. All right, there is Tim Melvin. Really, really good stuff, folks. I got a couple of tweets to go through here real quick. Then we're going to bring on 13. We're going to get you all ready here for today. Let's do our Street Tweets segment. All right, first one here is going to be about Palo Alto. Huge report yesterday. The Palo CyberArk deal puts PanW along with CrowdStrike in the driver's seat to monetize this major AI cyber opportunity. This is the goal, and we strongly agree with the strategic path, for Nikesh and Palo Alto Networks. We talked about the report here. It looked pretty good, although stock's still trading down a little bit here. It beat on the estimate. It lowered its Q3 adjusted EPS guide, but its full year guide was higher because of some of those memory prices. I'm looking at the chart here for Palo Alto. It looks like it tried to bounce earlier and is trading back down to the 150 area. Let me know from the group. Do you guys like Palo Alto? Is this a trade here for today? Are we looking at PanW? I'll see if this bottoms out. We actually have a fair value gap on the chart there, so we'll see if that gets attacked here at all. But Palo Alto going to be I guess, in play here after trading down on earnings with a somewhat good report. Producer, next tweet. Next tweet here is from Gary Black, and this is on the saga that we have talked about here. I love how Tim came in hot and opened it on this. Gary Black says, I continue to believe the current Warner Brothers Discovery deal uncertainty is an overhang on Netflix's stock. Gosh. Someone else told you that. I'm so glad that we were avoiding a lot of this, presenting investors with a potential asymmetric return opportunity. So the $64,000 question, our Netflix price target is $98, which is 28% upside from where we're at, based on 2030 EPS of $5.70 and a 1.75 PEG and 15% long-term growth, discounted at 11.2% cost of equity. We estimate the downside at about $73. So we're really close to the bottom here, at least according to Gary. This 70 to 75 levels level that we talked about here by looking at the chart looks like we're almost there. Let's see, it goes on to say here, Netflix stock closed at 103 on December 4th, the day before the Warner Brothers deal was discussed. He thinks this can go back to 100 even without that. So again, let me know here on Netflix. What are you looking for? Where's your buy? Are you interested in the 70s? Are you waiting for lower? Let me know what you think there on Netflix. All right, let's go ahead and do our pre-market pulse. Let's get you ready for the session. Hello, 13. Good morning. How you doing, boss?
Oh, I'm doing pretty good. Just enjoying my morning. How's everybody out there? How are you doing?
I'm doing really good, man. We are also enjoying our morning here. It's time to take a look at some of the movers here. Did you want me to start with anyone in particular?
Yes, there's one that just started to get going as you were wrapping up with Tim there. It's SNSE. News just broke out with this one that they are acquiring Faith Therapeutics and also getting a $200 million private placement. So those two things combined, and in addition to that, it's got a very low float, 47,000 shares.
Yep.
So this could really get moving around here. It's already been moving around a lot in the pre-market. The interesting thing about this is that it was trading around its cash position, and it may even a little bit less than that. And now it's absolutely taken off. So let me switch back over to this one. So I thought that was pretty interesting that we were getting, this stock here that didn't really, follow anything except what kind of cash it had. And I think that with this private placement, it's probably going to end up doing really well today. I mean, as I've been talking about it already, it's already taken out the pre-market high from the impulse move and went up to $35. I can't say for sure exactly where this is going to go, but with the private placement and the low float and the news and I think this could end up going to some pretty high prices. Just can't say exactly where for sure.
Here's a look at your daily. James here saying these bio stocks are amazing indeed. Yeah. Actually, look where we're trading up to here. So I guess 39. Just kind of looking at this, 39 would be one. Good morning, Jay. It's great to see you. Okay, so SNSE. This one moving here, really good. I didn't even go through all the stuff. You talked about the short interest there, 3%, 1 day to cover.
It's another stock that's actually got the short interest. It's just that sometimes when I switch between the short interest kind of lingers there on that current stock I'm looking at.
Okay.
From the past month. But anyway, it's not the short interest I wouldn't worry about. It's more about the news, the acquisition of Faith Therapeutics, 200 million private placement, getting a lot of cash at Series B notes. And they have a very low float at 847,000. So should see some fireworks with this one.
Okay, good stuff. SNSE, that is on deck. This is up 275% here today. We've got multiple 100% runners. The next one here is RXT. This is Rackspace Technology. Now, this stock closed at almost 42 cents yesterday. Mm-hmm. We generally don't cover penny stocks here, but when they make moves like this, something is of the up. 110 looks to be the resistance here. Do we have news on this one? Yeah, yes, Rackspace Technologies collaborates with Palantir over the development of Palantir's Foundry and artificial intelligence platform. I think this is probably one where we would want to read through the PR here just to see exactly what they're doing with this. But the headline, without a doubt, reads quite good. So I'm not surprised to see the move here. As far as the short interest go, 8.44% of the float shorted with 5.09 days to cover. That's notable. That's elevated short interest here. So maybe there'll be a little bit of a squeeze action going on. Float on this 108 million. On average, it trades 1.6 million. Today, it's done 81 million. 13, you think we get an opportunity on RXT here today?
Yes. So this is one of the ones, there's two actually. This is one of the ones that had the more attractive short interest. Unfortunately, this company has less than 2 quarters of cash. It's not 1 quarter. It's like a quarter and change. So it's got a little bit of cash left. It's currently at a consolidation area from back in, just basically a big consolidation area that spanned pretty much from November to the middle of January. Just kind of the sideways area on the daily chart. That's where the price has been finding resistance, and hopefully it can hold above $1, because if it can't, I think this comes back down to about 87 cents where the 65-day EMA is. That might give it some support briefly, but I also worry that it could fall to that as well. As far as the stock itself, it's got 108 million shares in the float. So I think that this could be a little bit more difficult to trade. Maybe it gives a good move out of the gate, but with the size of that float, I fear that we could see a little bit of leaking throughout the day. So it may provide a trade in the morning, and then it could just not do a whole lot with the rest of the day being that the float's so large.
Okay. All right. Good stuff there. RXT. Now the next one, Rustam, I know you've been waiting here. AUUD. This is audio. We've actually traded AUUD a number of times. Another piece of news here. Going to be a definitive merger agreement with, I think this is called Tharman here. I have
Ramen. Yep. THRAMAN.
Yeah, so I actually have a story here. So real quick, shares are up during the pre-market session following the announcement of a definitive merger agreement with Colorado-based Tharman Holdings.
THRAMAN.
Yep. Sorry, I'm just remembering. This news is contributing to the stock surge as it signals a strategic shift for the company, which is expected to restructure into a new entity named McCarthy Finney and trading under the ticker symbol MCFN. More details in here. I'm sure we're going to talk about them. Quick peek at the short interest on this name, 4.2% with 1 day to cover. On average, stock trades 394,000 shares, just about 400,000 shares. We've traded 61 million here today. Float is 3 million on this. 13, what do you think here?
Well, this is going to be interesting because it's this merger is going to determine how much AUUD ends up or shareholders end up owning, and it's going to be based on their cash position. So this merger is expected to take place in the second quarter. So, very next quarter this year. And as you put, they're going to, or said, they're going to merge, and their ticker change is going to be MCFN. What's happening is that if AUUD, by the time that they do this merger, if AUD has 12 to 20 million in cash, well, there will be no change in ownership. But if they have less than 12 million, then they will the ownership will decrease by 0.5% for every 1 million that they don't have that's below 12 million. Now, on the other hand,
that is interesting.
If it's over 20 million, then their ownership will increase by 0.5% for every million they have above 20 million. So right now, I don't think that they've got a whole lot of cash. I mean, I've looked at their cash position. I don't know how updated this is, but they've got 2.7 million in cash, so they're really at a deficit there if they want to maintain more ownership of this merger. So they're going to have to raise capital at some point. I don't know when that's going to be. Maybe it's as early as today, but that's going to have to be one of the things they do if this cash position they have is well underneath 12 million. I think when I was looking at this, it was at past resistance. It still is. So 140. That's where we have past resistance on a daily chart. I just happen to have this area marked off, so that's what I'm going with. And Perfect. if we kind of sink from here, there's going to be support at 125, and if we lose that, then we also have the 65-day EMA in addition to that. Currently on the 5-minute chart, it's getting some support from the 65 EMA on that 5-minute. But if we lose that, the levels I just mentioned are what we're going to want to keep pay attention to.
Okay, really good stuff there. AUUD, we'll see if we get a trade here on that. It does look like it's trying to turn up. We'll see if it takes out the VWAP. Okay, next here, JDZG. This is one that we talked about recently. It made a move on the upside. Now it's pretty much totally round-tripped that. Why does this say
I didn't cover this one because I took a look at it, saw that it went right back to where it started, and I didn't see any news.
And this is only on there because we had like a really terrible closing candle that made the price 72 cents. So it's $1 here. I think we can skip this one.
I don't think there's anything here.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't either. Okay. Next here, Sabre. This is one that we have traded before. It's SABR. Sabre shares are trading higher if the company reported better than expected Q4 financial results. Conference call is currently in progress. You can see the stock is ramping, so investors are liking what they hear on this. Short interest on this name, 15.91% of the float shorted with 8.54 days to cover. It is high on both metrics there. Float is 285 million. So it's going to trade a little bit thicker than some of the other ones here. On average, it does 6.5 million shares. We've done 2.5 million here. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking that this could be a lot like RXT because the float is 285 million shares. We could see some nice movement out of the gate, but with the float being as large as it is, I think that this is going to also provide some some fading, some leaking after the morning, and I don't know how great it's going to be with that large share structure. Revenues, it's not bad. I mean, revenue is great actually, but the net income is inconsistent. And here we are with some better than expected earnings. Well, they still had a loss of 1 cent EPS. So it's inconsistent as far as I can tell. I mean, I don't think I looked at it beyond that much because I'm a little bit concerned about the share structure. 285 million. Seen lots of these just kind of leak after the wild movement out of the gate.
Okay, so be careful with this one.
Yeah.
I would probably avoid this one unless it really sets up. Okay. BENF, this is Beneficient. We've traded this one a whole lot before. This actually traded up to $9 in the after hours yesterday, but having kind of a rough morning here today, really kind of coming back down to earth. Yesterday, it did report earnings in the after hours, EPS of a 119, beat the 15-cent loss estimate, so huge beat there. Sales of only 18.67 million. That smoked the estimate of 222,000. So the big beat here is why this thing traded up 93% after hours. Coming back down to earth here, still holding higher by about 25%. I'll be honest with you, I don't love the chart here, 13. The way it looks. And then short interest on this name, 9.83% of the float traded with 2.28 days to cover. On average, trades 233,000 shares. We've done 10 million here today. Floats 1 million. What do you think on BENF?
Didn't look at this one. Let me quickly take a look at the chart. Oops. What did I just do? Oh, give me 1 second.
Okay?
Let me just quickly look at a chart here. Yeah, it doesn't look like this is. I can see why I didn't take a look at this. It doesn't really look like it's done a whole lot since that impulse move it had yesterday. I guess my thought would be is that if this manages to find support in the consolidation it's about to enter from all of the other price action prior to yesterday, then there may be some support at the 250s. I'm sorry, 450s. But it just seems to me like there's just not a whole lot here. Like we've completely given back almost the entire move that it had from yesterday. Sorry, I didn't go over this one or look into it, but maybe there's something. There could be something here with how low the float is, 1.1 million shares. Maybe it gets picked up out of the gate here, but it is not looking great to me right now. So I would think I would just wait and see what the open gives us.
Yeah, I would say that you're probably right there. Okay, did you have anything else on your list that you wanted to cover? Like
no, we did really good. We covered quite a bit. We can look at some of the other ones. I saw there was some funny names on there like Mr. Car Wash.
I didn't look through this here.
The MCW sounds like a wrestling organization.
Yeah, these car washes make so much money, but man, they're so bad for your cars. Okay, anyway, that's neither here nor there. Interesting move here on earnings. All right, which one did you want me to cover?
Whatever you want to look at.
We can actually take tickers here. We got plenty of time, and we can take some tickers here if you want. Worth noting that some of your silver ETFs, these are up here today. On everything that's going on. But let's go over to the big chart here. We'll start with AMD for James. James said that AMD is not taking the news well. AMD down 2.3 or 2.4% here in the pre-market. NVIDIA deepens its India push. I talked about this a little bit this morning. Is this the news that you're referring to, James? Let me know.
Wisdom.
The rest of the news are from yesterday. Yep.
Wisdom, real quick. It's in the major city near me, but the way the wind is blowing, I'm not particularly worried about it, and I just don't need to be going outside today if it's be that big of a concern. But I'll be fine. I'm not concerned about it.
Is there something going on?
There's a
poison air situation.
There's some air quality issues with regard to the industrial facilities and the heavy oil regions of my neck of the woods. So just some things to
Okay, but you're
stay
good.
inside for. I'm fine.
But you're good. Okay.
Yeah.
Back to AMD here. Do you have any thoughts here on the chart or on any of these? I kind of think that, I mean, I know that what this thing has been doing recently is this battle with 200, right? It's trying to figure out if it's going to stay above this or not. This might be controversial, but I would actually love for this to pull back to its 200. In fact, I'd love for this to dip beneath the 200 and then recapture it. Feel pretty good about that. What say you on this AMD chart, though?
Well, it's got a double top here on the daily chart, and if this resolves, it should fill the gap at least. At the most, we could see this come down to probably somewhere between 135 and 145. That's like, worst case scenario, I would say. But I think it's certainly possible that it could happen, because if we're going to measure the resolution of how this double top is going to, end up pressing the price to the downside, it should take the exact measure, or pretty close to the same measure from its trough area to the peak. So that would be about 35%. So from there, 35% takes you about to 130 from where the trough is. So it could completely happen. I don't know if it will get all the way down there, but if we're just going to go based on the double top, I'd say that's where we could see the price come down to.
Okay, I'd actually like this lower here, so I'm with that. And James here, what you're talking about is the NVIDIA deal, right? And you think that AMD trading in sympathy with that. NVIDIA, the opposite here. I think you're on to that, by the way. NVIDIA up nearly 2%, AMD down more than 2% here.
And just to put a point on this, this is the same kind of measurement I did with Microsoft when they did a double top, and it went right to where we said it would go. So I think that this could also go to the part I just mentioned around 130. It could certainly come down there.
Okay.
And then once it does, I mean, I think because the AI theme is going to be going on for a while, I think that's going to be a great time to get it.
Yeah, I'm with you on that 100%. Here's the news that James is referring to. NVIDIA announces a multi-year, multi-generational strategic partnership with Meta. Spanning on-premise, cloud, and AI infrastructure, Meta expands its NVIDIA CPU deployment and significantly improves performance per watt in its data centers, making scale-out AI workloads with NVIDIA Spectrum X Ethernet. So this is the deal with Meta that James is referring to. NVIDIA obviously likes it. AMD not liking it. We'll see which one of these gives us a good opportunity to buy it. Okay. There you go, James. Let me know if that's what you were looking for. Silo is like a 30-cent penny stock, right? We probably will not break that down a whole lot. Rooster, SYNA, you were looking at. This is Synaptics. This actually is a pretty interesting chart. I definitely want to have it recapture the 20-day. Someone brought this up the other day. We took a very brief look at it, but we didn't have a whole lot on it. Did this thing have news this morning? No, I've got nothing new here as of this morning on SYNA. Down 6%, though.
What space is it in?
Oh, no, excuse me. This is the quote from yesterday. I beg your pardon. Synaptics, this is in semiconductors.
Okay.
You like anything here on the chart?
I was just, you said it was down 6%. I was just kind of seeing if there was anything attached to that. It looks like it's actually about to, come back in underneath the 50-day SMA. Or it's coming down to test it. It looks like if we continue to fall further, we're going
82
yeah.
About there.
And it's interesting too, because 82 is also kind of almost the high of December 10th. So that's an interesting support area, 82. We'll see what happens. If it comes down to 82 and gets support, maybe that's a good sign. But I think you're going to want to watch that 50-day SMA. If we lose that, we're going to go lower, I believe.
Okay. Broadcom, again, I feel like we look at this stock every single day. It's always requested in here. Here we are with Broadcom. Oh, man, sorry. We're actually re-challenging this trend line. We use this as support. This was a previous breakout area. We're actually trying to move above that as we speak right here. In fact, I have the value, I think, at 330. No, let me actually go inside here. It'll be a little bit easier to see. Here you go. So this is the area that we really need to get over. 332 was that area on Broadcom. Did you have any long-term thoughts on this chart?
Just like AMD.
This is just sideways here, I feel like.
Well, yeah, just like AMD, this is another one that I have for the long term, and it does, it need to come in, and I think it may have come in all pretty well already. Let's see here. We came down, or with the current price, we're at 20. We're just shy of 20%, but we already came down much lower, almost 30%. We breached the 200-day SMA. So that's a nice corrective move, but it still looks like it could go lower. And there was a question in there about somebody just had bought AMD. Could it go higher? I think it'll go higher, but it depends on your time horizon. If you're looking for like the next couple of months, I'm not sure about that. If you're looking a little bit longer out, like later this year, I think it's going to come back up. A lot of these semi names will. So I'm not worried about that for the long term. It just depends on your time horizon. For a short term, probably not. Long term, I think so, absolutely. Same thing with Broadcom. These are probably gonna see some short term weakness, but they'll be great long term because, like I said, I don't think this AI theme is done yet. We're going to be trading this into the 2030s.
Yeah, I completely agree with you there. Okay, 13, take your pick here. We've got Rivian. We pretty much just looked at that yesterday. I don't think there's much different there. Monday, NESR or StubHub. Which one do you want me to put up? I got to step away for just 1 sec.
Let's take a look at StubHub.
Okay, perfect. I think that was a 13F filing from yesterday.
Oh, okay. So somebody picked this up then?
I believe so. Was it Warren? No. Pretty sure. Maybe I'm mixing that up. I'm sorry. I don't have any new news on there. Here, let me go to the chart for you. Here's StubHub. Man, you've got more than this, don't you? What is going on? Hang on.
I only have this going back to September 2025. I'm pretty sure StubHub's been around longer than that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm wondering. I'm missing a whole bunch of September of 2025. Yeah, I'm missing a whole bunch of stuff here. All right, giving me some stuff to do. It's not going to be an easy day, but that's okay. We'll handle it. I'm going to go to the chart 13.
Nope, that's actually right. It's only September that I have it on my broker too. So
okay.
That's correct. And this thing.
All right, BRB 1 sec 13.
Okay. So this thing has been in a pretty much a bit of a staircase of decline here. You can see the clearly defined stairs. And let's see, we can even draw a trend line here. Let's see what this gives us. Nothing, I would say that's great, but it's something that we can keep an eye on. Looks to me like $10 is going to be one of the earliest resistance areas. That was a support area back from November. We got support from that, turned around, tried to go higher into the 15s, and now we're back down here underneath that support area. So that has become resistance. I think $10 is going to be the spot we need to get over. If we do that, then we're going to need to keep an eye on the 20-day SMA. To me, I don't think this is giving me enough confirmation that we've put in a bottom yet. Maybe we have bottomed here. It is trying to turn around, but this has turned around before after hitting a new low, and it went on to rally for a month or two. So I don't know about this one being done selling off yet. I think there could still be some more if this can't recapture 10, and that's where I would leave it right now. Let me look at the financials. See what we got with this one here. They took a 1.3 billion loss last quarter. What happened? Total operating income loss 1.368 billion.
That sounds bad.
Yeah, but here we are up 2%, or almost 3% today. I guess I would just leave it at that. Now it does have some interesting short interest here. What is this? 13.5 with 9 days to cover. The stock just came out last year. Less than 6 months ago. That's I think where I've got to leave this at. I'm not sure that this is bottomed yet, but I think that's what I'd be keeping an eye on. Recapture of 10. If it can't do that, lower we go.
Okay, good stuff there on StubHub. We got less than 2 minutes here, about 1 minute and 20 seconds. Let's take a look at PanW. Cam, you were asking about that earlier. Want to take a look at the chart? That thing looks like that is having a rough morning here. Yeah, so it actually looked like it was going to try and bounce here a little bit, but some more new pre-market lows. I was looking at this, and basically I've got a fair value gap in here between the bottom of this impulse candle, which we looked at. It's about 158. And then the top of this candle, it's about 155. So fair value gap in there. I don't know if it's going to make a move back up towards that area. That would be resistance 1 if it does, but it sure looks like Pan W here. You can probably wait this out of the open.
Yeah, I think I think with the price action that overnight, I think I might end up getting my target area between 140 and 145.
What was your target area again? 140, 145? Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
Should have just let you keep going there.
Yeah, that's where I was saying it could go. I was looking, keeping an eye on this low from April, from Liberation Day. And it's kind of lines up nicely with this other low from the yen carry trade. That's interesting how those really big, sell-off events kind of stick out here like a sore thumb in Pan W. But that's what those were. August 5th, 2024, the yen carry trade unwind, and April 7th, 2025, that was Liberation Day sell-off. So here we are testing those lows. And if we can't recapture, I would say 160, even though I think it's probably going to have to be more like 170 we need to get back above. But if we can't start recapturing some of those levels, I think this could end up breaking down beneath those two significant dates in the past.
Okay.
So, but let's see what we get out of the gate here. If we sell off out of the gate, and I think we just opened, we sell off out of the gate and go down to 140 to 145, that might represent a near-term bottom, but I don't think it's going to be the bottom.
Okay. And actually, it looks like this is hunting lower here out of the open. Let me know what you take there, if you take any on Pan W. That I'm interested. Joe says 147 looks interesting. We are in the 147 handle. Okay, looking at AUUD. This broke its 65 EMA.
Mm-hmm. And RXT is trying to recapture VWAP here. If this gets a little bit more volume, we're going to be looking to, this is going to be looking to push past 110. I think that's where the resistance is. Highs of the pre-market were 114. So a breakthrough 110, I think we go higher than that. Sabre, this is selling. This looks like the MACD is kind of indicating that this is rolling over here. If there's going to be support, it may be as early as 115, but I think you're going to find some better support down in the 110 area.
Okay, that might come in. APLD getting mentioned here by Retro. Someone wanted to take a look at this yesterday on the happy hour, I think. APLD here, this holding the pre-market lows. Maybe this turns around.
SNSE, this needs to find its footing. If it's going to push higher, had a nice pre-market action, but not since, hasn't done anything since then except leak. It's down at a support area. I think
that's SNSE, you said, right? Yeah, that was the one that was up huge earlier.
Yeah, this is the one that had the private placement, the acquisition. Yeah. So this one should be trading better, but right now it's not doing that. It's trading beneath VWAP, so just going to wait with that one. RXT, though, we're approaching 110. You see that break there. AUD is trying to recapture at 65 EMA, and if we can get back above it and start going sideways again, I'll be looking for a break over VWAP. And StubHub is, it's not looking good.
I think this might be a potential bounce spot, SNSE. We'll see, though. I don't feel great about it, but I'm just going to mark it and see what happens here with this. There's to be a little bit patient on this one.
There's RXT blasting through the 110 and new high.
Here is RXT. Okay, really good call there. Palo Alto is bouncing. Looks like 149 up here. We'll see if 149 gets taken out on Palo Alto.
You know, if RXT, it would, I don't think it would be surprising, but if this does get up to 130, that might represent a brief top, and it might come back in a little bit. But 130 is where I would like to see RXT go to.
Would you want this? Would you want, if this did come back, would you want this to hold like the top end of that pre-market range, or would you rather have this come into like the VWAP or something, or what do you think?
I would want it to hold 110.
Okay.
Our breakout spot. So if we get that 130 and it starts to come back into 110, I want to see 110 hold, because I think we'll get another upward move if that happens.
Okay. Pretty good stuff there. Pan W here looks like we are trying to bounce.
SNSE. This is trying to recapture the view up. Sorry for interrupting.
Yep, you're all good.
Let's see here. So how low did PanW go? This went down to 147.34, a couple dollars shy of where I'd like to see it, but hey, it's we were making this call live when we got the earnings, so that wasn't too
Scalp
bad.
one done on PanW, so that's
Well
2 points. We'll see if we can get another one here. I'm curious if this is going to have the strength to get above this area right here. To me, this almost looks like resistance. You're calling for PanW lower here. Joe, I do agree with your 147 spot there, so we'll see if this is going to have the strength, but scalp one there done on PanW. Taking a look at the options, it looks like there are some sizable bets in both directions here, especially on the short-dated options for PanW. And also, interestingly enough, calls outweighing puts on PanW, 11,200 to 8,700 on puts. So definitely some bounce players coming in here on Palo Alto. Brian here, love this. I'm fading the Palo Alto pops and adding short. So what is your eventual target with PanW to the downside? And what are you shorting? Like, are you just shorting any pop here on PanW, or are there specific levels you're shorting? Let me know on that, because I'm kind of thinking that this bounce doesn't hold.
Oh my God, what is going on with StubHub? This thing just gapped. This thing gapped down after closing 1 5-minute candle and opened much lower, like 16 cents lower. This thing is really starting to spread out. It's got a what is this? A 24-cent spread now. Be careful with StubHub.
Let me pull this up in my broker. I was watching PanW because I was actually trading that, but let me take a look here at this. Yeah, this is spread.
And Retro, if you have a long-term prospect for AMD, yeah, I think this is a good dip buy. But if you're trading it shorter term, I don't know that I'd be buying right here. I think we're going to have more opportunities lower, just the way that this price action since October last year looks. I get the sense that we're going to come in lower, and I think you're going to have some even better buying opportunities. So depending on your time horizon, I think that's going to determine whether or not this is a good spot to get it or not. If it's long-term, I think you'll be fine. If it's short-term, maybe not. I think this could still come in lower.
Really quickly here on SPY, I think I'd like to see this get above 684.15-ish. Looks like it's tried to bounce there, but it might be trying to set a lower high there. Corning, this is interesting. I'm seeing some puts get bought into Corning. This is one that we took a look at recently. It looks like this is actually trying to break out again here.
Yeah.
Put flow into this, though.
Well, I mean, that would make sense because it's very extended.
Okay. I want 141 by the end of the week on Palo Alto. I got a 163 average before earnings. Oh, that is a good short right there, Bri. Keep us posted on what you end up closing that at. I appreciate all of the details of the trade plan there. That is really good. Joe saying, Ryan, did you see the news on the gold call spreads being bought for December? I did not see that. Is there something you can link for the group there, Joe? I will definitely take a look at that when I get some time later today, but no, I had not read that so far here.
Sounds good, Retro. I'm in AMD and Broadcom, so I'm not worried about this downside. I think it's something that the runs they've been going on, they needed to come in. I think it's just presenting some more buying opportunities. I just don't think the time is quite right yet if we're going long for the long term.
Palo Alto here actually looking like maybe it's trying to turn around and get constructive. Let's see what happens above 150 there. No position on Palo Alto, but I'd go back to that here if I thought that it was pretty good. We'll see what happens on this. Abel saying, I'm in GLW, which is Corning at 89. It's great, but I don't want to buy more now. I don't blame you. Let me ask you, what's the plan to close that? Is that an investment, longer term thesis on that? Would you raise capital by selling partial on that? What's the plan for the existing position there? By the way, the market continues to weaken a little bit here out of the gate. This is what we saw yesterday, seeing it again here today.
And with regard with that plan for Corning, I think it's always worth it to pull up a monthly chart as a reminder of what happened last time we had this parabolic run back in during the .com era. This thing came parabolic, and it came right back down as quickly as it came up. So I'm not trying to suggest that you're going to get the same price action from Corning. We're in different times now, and there's a lot more fiber optic cable being run around the world. But I think it's just a good idea to not stick around when the getting's good. We're at almost 90 RSI in this thing, and I would hope that you have some kind of a plan for at least taking profit or lightening your position, de-risking something, because this is an absolutely phenomenal move. And congratulations on your massive gain there.
All right, really good stuff. And yeah, that's exactly why I asked. Just looking at this chart, we actually looked at something similar with Cisco, right? Had a huge move around the same time frame, came right back in the whole 9 yards.
Yep. Oh, here we go. SNSE is halted to the upside. Now we unhalt here. What we need to see, because I'm going to be a little bit nervous if it doesn't happen, but we got to get beyond 3250. That looks like the resistance area that needs to get past, because if we don't, we might have a bit of a bearish pattern here forming here on the intraday chart, the 5-minute, and we need to just get past 3250 if we're going to see higher prints. So out of the halt here, let's see if we get that. But SNSE so far is doing exactly what we want to see.
Never quite made it down to the fair value gap. We did, however, test that 15 EMA, although you had to be fast on that one. SNSE. Interesting stuff there. Abel says, I will de-risk at this point and then reassess. I think that's a smart thing to do. A couple more tickers here that people are looking at. FJet getting mentioned here by Billy. This is another curl here through the after hours highs. No position on this one. I wasn't watching this one, Billy, but good stuff there. And then Mo mentioning Rhyme, which was a big mover yesterday, RIME. This was a big mover yesterday and then came back in. It really had a terrible day. Maybe it's curling here today. I'll say, though, this spot right here, this is a very, very clear spot. This has got to get above 3, frankly. Got to get above 3.
RXT, after that pop to 119, came right back in under VWAP. Not what we wanted to see, but it's trying to push back up over 110 again. So we'll see if that ends up giving us that 110. Still the breakout spot, I think. AUUD, odd. This is also trying to get over its VWAP as well. Hasn't been able to so far in the regular session. Still kind of dealing with this sideways consolidation, but still getting support from the 65 EMA. If we start closing multiple times underneath that 65 EMA, I think that's going to spell some more downside for us here. It could take us to 120.
Okay, yeah, that VWAP projection so far telling you all you needed to know. We'll see what the volume tells us. Mo here saying, yeah, 280 to 3 resistance on Rhyme. Let's see if we can end up clearing that out. This is another one here. This STEX. This is StreamX. This is one that I've been talking with one of my buddies here. They had some news here today. They launched the GLDY, a yield-bearing gold-backed tokenized security. One of the theses here that I was talking with my buddy, and again, this didn't come from me, so I haven't done a ton of due diligence on this. I do have a little bit of it. Thought here was that there's actually a short in here that might be trapped, especially if good news comes out. Now, the short interest here, not abnormally high, 4.33% with, I think that was 1 day to cover on that? 1.31 days to cover, pretty negligible there. But it sure seems like this might jam a little bit here. And what's interesting is I actually have the 200-day at 469. These are the EMAs, but I have the 200 simple moving average at 469. I don't think that's out of the question here if this really gets going. So I'm encouraged to see the news, encouraged to see it up 6% here. I would not chase this move. My average on this is 244. So I'd be looking for a move above 3, and then we'll start talking about selling it. We'll see if we get that there. CMPS being mentioned here by Bob. What do you got?
What I don't understand what this news is about, because GLDY has already been on the exchange for a while.
A yield-bearing gold-backed tokenized security. Let me read through this.
And I know what GLDY is because I own it.
Okay. Holding gold comes with a lot of risk. Beginning of February, eligible investors will be able to onboard and purchase GLDY directly through the StreamX app.
Okay, so that's what that's actually about. It's StreamX. Yes, StreamX gets some of its income. My understanding is from GLDY. And GLDY, uses sells options, I believe, against their gold position. SNSE is open, by the way, and I think that's what the relationship actually is there between the two companies.
Okay,
So
this actually looks pretty good. I'll tell you what,
yeah.
this 270 area, this would be next. We're right up on that. Not a whole lot of size there, too. Anyway, this is a short-term trade. It was just kind of a tip from a buddy, so
Nice.
it's working. I'm surprised it's working this quickly, but it is working. Just C says StubHub are crooks anyway. So don't go to a ton of events. Do you folks like using stuff? Aren't there a bunch of fees that you have to pay in order to get these tickets?
RXT is making new session highs, trying to get up to that 130, maybe even a little bit higher area that I was looking at. So far, RXT.
This was a good call, 13.
Oh, thank you. So that one's doing pretty good. Also with SNSE, that out of the halt, it went a little bit higher, up to 32 and change. I'm sorry, 31.94. And then it came back down. Hopefully we get hold of VWAP here, but MACD is looking like it's trying to roll over. This is what we wanted to not see. We needed to get over 32.50, and now this looks like we could be getting a bit of a bearish pattern here, a little intraday head and shoulders, if you will. So if in order to invalidate this, we need to climb higher. So if we can hold above VWAP and take out that 32.50 and the pre-market high, then we'll invalidate that. But otherwise, this looks like we might end up coming back in here.
Yeah, and I just drew a trend line connecting those two highs. We'll see if that gets taken out. Okay, a couple of comments here real quick. StubHub and all others are ridiculous with their fees. Lion, good morning, Lion, says StubHub very expensive than any other platform. Is it the fees or is it the actual price of the ticket? The success, when I've gone to like Detroit and gone to sporting events with some of my coworkers, I think they use StubHub or maybe they use another ticket providing service, but they've had a lot of success buying tickets close to the event. Far less success buying it in advance of the event. So I'm just curious for those that maybe use StubHub more. See, Lion says, I try to buy World Cup soccer tickets. Their price is higher than other platforms. See, so that you're trying to buy something in the future. And that, I think, is where a lot of this negativity on StubHub comes from. Just because I've seen the same thing. I've seen the same thing. They seem awfully expensive, and then they hit you with fees. Steve here says, I can help with StubHub. Hit or miss, you can have it where you buy and they don't send the tickets. But I always play the game where you get tickets an hour or so before the show and the prices drop. Steve, that is exactly the experience that I've had with it. Albeit I don't go to a lot of these events. A lot of the times they're, to full disclosure, a lot of the times they're Red Wings games when I'm in Detroit. It's the fees. SeatGeek with the NFL charges both the seller and the buyer. And then here you go, Steve. So you'll see the prices drop like crazy within 2 to 3 hours before the event starts. And by the way, 13, your SNSE, I've just kind of left it up here while we're having the StubHub discussion. This coming back in.
Yep.
MLAC.
Sorry, go ahead.
It's okay. Super saying I missed a big move here. I wasn't going to trade MLAC anyway here today. Grats if you hit this, though.
MLAC, we traded this one earlier this week, I thought. Or Friday we did.
Yeah, what's the low of this candle here? You want this to hold on to 11, don't you?
Are you asking me?
No, just in general. There it goes. Boy, oh boy. Okay, well, you know what? Supric, I missed this. Sounds like you didn't. Anyone else in MLEC here? We are popping.
Very low float, too. 73,000 shares. So this will give some moves. RXT still holding up there. We might still get to 130 plus. AUD losing the 65 EMA. If we fall beneath 130, I think we go easily to 120, maybe even 115. SNE, this is starting to lose its VWAP. Sabre, this is coming in. BENF coming, it's a little sideways, but trying to hold on to VWAP. Stub, whipping all around. And then we already looked at STAX. We'll take that off the screen there. Yeah, so lots of weakness following that move out of the gate there. And I'm not surprised with these larger float ones, doing this. We kind of talked about how this was going to happen with, Sabre.
Yep.
And what was the other one? Was it, no, not that one. Maybe it was RXT. but that hasn't really given up yet. It's big seller in the way at 125. So we might not be able to go a whole lot further beyond that level.
NAC, this is one that you guys were mentioning earlier here. This was lower in the pre-market. It looks like this bounced off the open here. This is down 34.5%.
And I think I know what it is. I see the headline here, update on summary judgment case. I'm pretty sure that's what it's going to be about. Because this, I've been talking about this for a while with this one in particular. They need this EPA case to go well for them, so that they can actually start mining or start building the infrastructure for mining. All right, so filed its brief on the 17th. That was yesterday. I'm just reading this real quick.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry, I got sidetracked there at the same time that 13 was reading. I apologize. That's on me, 13. Who's is anyone trading NAC here today? I don't think so, right? You guys are looking at some of the other movers here today.
So we needed they needed this brief to be filed. I think that was supposed to be due on January 26th originally. It looks like that got extended. So
really quickly, crypto low of the day, by the way.
So I guess what ends up being read out of this brief here was I think what's potentially pulling this down. But this is until this EPA suit gets ironed out, this isn't really going to be one that I think anybody wants to hold on to. But just keep an eye on the proceedings of this case, because it's going to determine whether this sinks 35% or soars 70%.
So binary event based on a ruling. That's
because it's all regarding the Environmental Protection Agency, and the issue with this particular site that they're trying to get approved for mining is that it's home to $100 million a year fishery businesses or industry, actually, I should say. And there's a lot of pushback from other even conservative figures like Tucker Carlson or Donald Trump Jr. because they fish in this very same region. So there's a lot of back and forth between the EPA and certain members of this current administration. They can mine this safely without disrupting the fishing industry. There's still concerns that that's not going to happen, but it's down because we're still dealing with this ordeal, which I think it was expected to be resolved by now, and it's still ongoing.
Really quickly here, SPY 2. So that actually tried to bounce, but now we have a pretty good trend line here. Sure looks like until something can change here, the trend is still down. And then one more thing here from yesterday. I know Ondas actually had a pretty good day yesterday. I know we talked a little bit about the news. It was a little light on some of the details, but still seemed like it was a really good part of the expansion theme here. Ondas actually had a great day yesterday, recapturing the 9 EMA. Today I have the 50-day moving average at 1048. So that would be a key level that I'd be looking for Ondas to close above here for some more upside.
RXT hit 130 and change. This is what we wanted to see.
Do you have levels for this? I think someone was asking for levels.
Well, if it's going to go higher, I'm not expecting it to go a whole lot higher from here. Maybe it goes to 140, but 130 was the price I was looking for with this one. So we could start to see some weakness here. But if, like I said, if this does manage to push higher, I don't know how much further it's going to go. I would say 140. But I don't know if it's going to even get there or if it's going to go past that. Everything I was looking for with this one pretty much happened. So it could hit some just slightly higher high from here and then start to come back in. So I really don't have very many levels. Let me see if I can find some for you on a daily chart here.
Okay, and I'll go back and mark those off. The rhyme, which we talked about earlier, 280 to 3 seems to be the resistance area. We're right smack dab in the middle of that here at 290 on rhyme.
I like 160 and 185 as the next upside levels. So, if we continue higher, that's where I would think the next resistance areas are going to be. And I'm just basing this off of some historical price action going, back the past year.
You said 160, 185?
Yeah.
Okay, I marked those both off on the chart here. So if we get to those, we'll at least keep that in view here.
And those are just levels that I see. I'm not trying to exercise full confidence in that we're going to get there. We might, but I think a lot of the good movement has pretty much happened. I see a lot of sellers in the way here, so I'm just a little concerned that we're not going to have the volume to get us up to those prices.
Okay.
All right, and here we go with
stuff in RXT.
Yep. And here we go with SNSE. That pattern emerged. We get that 30 beyond 3250, and here we are getting a little weak now. So I would expect this to start to come in some more.
It's halted to the downside as we speak.
Yep.
So just halted a minute ago. We are approaching the fair value gap area. I would say 22 is the spot to look out there. Go Steve D. Have you covered shop yet today? We have not looked at shop yet.
Lion,
I clicked on the wrong thing.
If Trump could unilaterally just sign off on that deal, he would have already done that. But unfortunately, it's got to go through court system. It's got to go through the EPA. It's got to go through the Army Corps of Engineers. There's other hurdles it has to go through. So it's not just a matter of Trump simply waving his hand or his pen and everything is fine. It's not like that at all.
And then really quick, Steve, have noticed there's actually some shop call flow here today. What's your plan on shop here? Are you trading this here? It looks like a couple of call sweeps, one put sweep.
Joe,
Shop straight up out of the gate.
I thought about it, but I thought this is we're professionals here, so I didn't. But hey, they're going on. They're going on.
At least you tried.
They're going.
At least you tried. Okay.
Well, I guess analysts really like Shopify. They're given overweight, even though a lot of them are lowering their price target. The fortunate thing is most of these price targets are over where the price is right now. Like there's only one that I think is underneath where we're at. That's Truist's. Well, wait a minute.
Steve, wow. So what's your plan? I'm going to ask you the same thing I've asked the rest of the group. It's 13. I'll go right back to you. Shop, a holder at 44. So is this something that where are you looking to take gains on this? Or do you actually really like the product because you use it or something like that? Let me know what the plan is here on Shop.
Somebody called Truist Securities and tell them that Terry Tillman needs to just calm down. Yesterday, he gave a hold on Shopify and lowered the price target to 110. Today, he changes it to a buy, upgrades it to a buy, and raises it to 150. Pick a target and stick with it, sir.
I'll let you call him. You let me know how that goes.
I'm not going to
remember. Analysts seemingly are never wrong.
Hey, look at that RXT right to 140.
It.
Right to 140. Hit the. Yeah, I don't think I mentioned a trend line, but I drew one and it hit the top of that. So this could be it for RXT.
Now your trend line is connecting the pre-market highs here.
Yep,
and just extend it out into the So this is what you're looking at right there. There you go.
Yeah. So we got that. So that might be it for RXT for now. Maybe for the whole day. I don't know, but it's hit our target. So I don't think it's worth sticking around and see what else can it do.
Speaking of targets, look at Ondas. So this actually did try and get above the 50. It's coming back in. Again, I would watch the closing candle here. I don't think this is done yet. We'll see. Just noticing that Caesars is actually on the movers list here. This is trading higher after better than expected Q4 financial results. So Caesars a nice little move here. I think I just saw DraftKings on there after that got destroyed on its earnings. Yep, DraftKings bouncing back a little bit here today. I was checking on silver earlier. It looks like a lot of the commodities, which really kind of got hit yesterday, all trading back today. Gold, silver, even oil. How are the memory names doing? We've talked about that.
Some of them are up, some of them are down. It looks like Micron's still doing fine.
Okay, SanDisk. This actually went red to green.
The 3D Generac target. If you hit your target, great. I mean, this thing is very extended right now. I don't think people should be buying this up here. This looks like it could start to come back in, and if it does, 200 looks like a good support area. But remember, when it comes to this one, this has two different sections of seasonality. It's because of the cold, the winter storms that we get during this time of year, we're seeing that rise. So this should start to fade a little bit as we start to get into the spring. But once June starts rolling around, maybe even May, following their earnings, that tends to lead into the seasonality, the positive seasonality for hurricane season for this company. So I think we're going to see some weakness pretty soon with Generac. We're going to come back in as spring approaches, and then once we get into late May, maybe early June, or whenever their earnings is around that time. Let me double check that for you. It should be okay. So April 29th is when their next earning is. So usually that's when we start to see the seasonality for the hurricane season pick up with Generac. We could be bottoming in around that time following the earnings. So that would be the time that I would consider taking a look at this for a trade on the hurricane season.
So I would ask 3D, were you looking for targets? Was your target hit? Sounds like if your target was hit, this would be an area to maybe de-risk some of that and book gains. Alpha Trade, good morning. Good to see you. Isn't Las Vegas very quiet now? Why Caesar? So I actually don't know what the foot traffic. Let me. I have a buddy that lives there. Let me ask him. The one thing I will say is that every time I talk about Las Vegas with him, he notes that Caesars is always busy. Like it is almost never a ghost town there, even if Vegas is seeing less foot traffic than normal. Let me ask about that, though. I actually haven't had that discussion in a couple of weeks, so maybe something has changed here as we enter the spring.
I have a thought. Let me see if I'm just going to check something, and then I can give you an answer on that.
On which?
What you just talked about.
Oh, on Las Vegas and foot traffic and all that? Okay, great. Real quick here. Told you, probably not done. Ondas, second move now. This is through the pre-market high and also through that 50. Would love to see this close above 1049.
Okay, so remember how we talked about Lunar New Year?
Yes. Oh, okay. Yes.
So during Lunar New Year, because a lot of Asians come over from Asia or they go to Macau, or they go and gamble, because in China their religion is essentially luck. So you're going to see a lot of business pick up in Las Vegas, Macau, and probably some other areas that have resorts and gambling. So I think that's why Caesars and maybe even Las Vegas Sands might be doing well. Let's
now both of those have some international exposure, so you might be onto something there. Really quick, the Good saying, my friend that lives there said Vegas is pretty much dead because it's become very expensive. I've heard the same thing. Vegas super expensive. It used to be very cheap, for example, to eat there. Now it's very expensive as well, but still.
And I think that's what's happening here is that even though it's so expensive, because you have Lunar New Year and travelers and people from Asia coming over to take part in Las Vegas, you're seeing that. In addition, you're also having a short squeeze with CZR. 17.5% of the float shorted, 6.2 days to cover. Both of those things giving this a lift today. Okay.
Up 17.7% on the back of those earnings.
Yep.
Okay, good stuff there on Caesars. Grats if you had it.
I feel kind of silly that we didn't do that, because we talked about Lunar New Year and we danced around this whole thing, and we didn't think about gambling or Las Vegas.
That's how the cookie crumbles sometimes, 13. That's that. And you know what? This is another reason why I am constantly saying we should try to bring more people into our group. This is also why I said at the beginning here that this is a spot where you definitely should share thesi. And then also not be afraid to poke holes in that, right? That's going to make everyone a little bit better.
Yep.
A
Sabre.
Vegas beer is $14. Yeah, I'll pass on that.
Sabre went down to the 65 EMA. The past 15 minutes, it's been on a rise. Just had a nice big move on this current candle it's in, trying to get back up to 125. It just recaptured a couple of EMAs and the VWAP with the current candle.
Yeah, I would. I'll tell you what, I'd really want to see that volume expand there. I don't feel all that great about it. Tesla turning up here, seeing some Tesla call sweeps come across the wire. They're not huge, but Tesla now through the pre-market high.
Oh my goodness. Let me take a look at my watch list here. Space Names doing great today.
Okay.
The only ones that aren't up are Iridium and Applied Optoelectronics.
Okay.
Everything else is just having a great day. Go ahead.
I'm trying to think. Is it maybe just up with the rest of the market? I know the market is trading up here. It's bringing a lot of stuff with it.
I could have sworn I saw something this morning about how regarding rate changes, about how the current labor market is indicating that we may get more rate cuts in the future. I don't know if
yeah, but I don't think the timetable on that has changed. The Fed CME watch tool is still projecting 92% for the next meeting. So, and I think if we look at that, doesn't that also coincide with when Powell's going to leave? Let me bring that up. Let me not hypothesize. Let me actually look. We're going to be data dependent here. How about that? We're going to be data dependent. I'm going to pull that up. Let me clear the deck here a little bit.
And yes, Kenneth, you're right. Velo is down, even though I think that's, I want to place that in the space theme, but it's also going to be making other components for other companies as well. So maybe more general manufacturing, but yeah, you're right. That one is down. I think that I do like that in the space theme because they are making components for SpaceX. Yes, and there's also that too, Michael. So we are getting the FOMC minutes, meeting minutes today.
Yep.
I don't know that we're completely de-risking here because we're seeing a lot of we're seeing some of these speculative names do well.
Yeah, what's interesting about that? This is what I was trying to spit out earlier, but I just couldn't get it past my lips. It does kind of feel like risk on all of a sudden. The market is bouncing, but Bitcoin is also trading up off those lows. So I'd mentioned that it was low a days earlier, but now it's trading up here. Really quick, 13. Here's a look at the Fed CME watch tool. So for the meeting in March, we've got a 94% chance that the interest rates hold steady. The meeting in April has a 76.6% chance. We don't have a meeting in May. Powell leaves in May. The following meeting in June, look at that, goes down to 38%. So it sure seems like the market participants here, perhaps more than anything else, are looking at Jay Powell as being the blocker, if you will, to further interest rate cuts. Yeah. Right? And the CME watch tool is the data is showing us that. So this kind of confirms what we're thinking here in terms of when we see those cuts. Yeah. I'm open. If you guys have a different opinion on that, if you think we see one before June, I'm open to that. I don't know that that's the case.
I'm not expecting one before June. I mean, we've been getting a lot of our rate cuts lately in the back half of the year.
Yep.
So I think that's what we'll continue to see, especially with Powell leaving in May. So yeah, that's what I think. I think you're right.
Lion here. Appreciate this. Ryan, we need to watch basic materials and housing and builders, stocks with the rate cut. They should rip. What about small caps? Do you think small caps might also rip with lower rates in there? Otherwise, of what you just mentioned there, I guess, what are some of your favorites there? I guess we can probably skip the metals. We know how you feel on the metals, but the housing, builders, and other material stocks, I'm definitely interested in what you're looking at there on those.
And, since we're
sorry to interrupt again, but I've been kind of waiting. I know it took an early trade here on PanW, said that 150 is going to be key. Looks like it's trying to break out here. We'll see if this takes out the the 65 EMA at 151.29.
Just going to mention
position, but interesting. Sorry, get in there.
Another one to keep your eyes on if we are getting more rate cuts. KRE. Since Liberation Day, this has been on a slow grind up. This is regional bank stocks, so they'll appreciate lower rates. Absolutely.
Small cups, Lion. That's a Freudian slip, isn't it? LOL. Small caps should be doing great or have been doing great. They should continue to go up.
Yeah.
That's what I'm hoping for. I'll be honest, some of these other kind of longer term positions into the back half of this year and beyond are small caps for me. I'm kind of banking on that, to be honest. And I don't really, frankly, I don't care if it comes in June or in March, or if it comes, soon or in the back half of the year, I should say.
Your drone names, your quantum names, your space names,
anything spec.
They're all the things that were at the uranium and nuclear names. Those are all going to end up coming back with the lower rates. And Yassine is buying a robot.
I'm at the Builder Show I'm at the Builder Show, Lion. Construction is booming, and I'm buying a robot. What kind of robot are you getting? What kind of robot are you getting?
And take pictures and share with us if you could at happy hour today. That'd be awesome.
I think he's not available for happy hour because he's traveling on vacation.
Gotcha.
But Yassine, I'll tell you what. You want me to share any of that with the group? I will. I think the most interested in what you learned from that event. I know you said you're buying a robot, but if there was a stock that you're buying, I'd be interested in that too.
Boots on the ground.
Boots on the ground. We'll take it all of the time, folks. All of the time.
RXT hit 140 and it is now testing VWAP. So this is what I was cautioning. I wasn't sure how much higher we were going to go with this. Looks like RXT is not going to go but beyond 140 for the time being. If it holds VWAP, maybe it can, but once we fall through that, I think this is going to come back into the closer to the $1 area.
And then you folks, Kathy, I know that you mentioned this earlier. Selena mentioning this now regarding some of the oil names. I'll just go to some of them here. Here's COP. CVX would be another one that we've taken a look at. These fell yesterday with the rest of the commodities, right? All of the commodities fell in unison yesterday. Now they're doing the same. Now they're doing the opposite today together. So I know you guys are talking about the tensions with Iran. It seemed like that had calmed down a little bit yesterday, late in the day. Did it not? Did I miss something here this morning? Let me just check real quick. Fire breaks out at Iran's Parand near the capital of Tehran. That was from the state media.
Well, the Strait of Hormuz has been closed, I believe, hasn't it?
Partially closed, though, yeah. I thought.
Okay, so unless that reopens, we haven't de-escalated.
I guess that's true.
There's also.
I could have sworn that there were talks. Maybe I'm mixing this up. I'm sorry.
Well, there are talks, but it's. I think the last piece that came out from Iran is that they needed like a couple of weeks or something like that to iron out the details of the proposal, which is just.
And wasn't the response for that they were optimistic that they were going to do that? That's what I mean. It didn't feel like there was saber rattling going on, but maybe I'm wrong.
Look, any time that you see Iran needs this time or that time to do X or Y or Z, it's delaying. That's all it is.
Yeah,
it's just delaying.
Yeah, that and I appreciate the read through. I'm just saying, from what we know, it seemed like some of those tensions or escalations have come in a little bit. But again, that's just kind of what I'm seeing out there. Kathy, I know you think that this is probably still moving in unison with that. Selena, same thing.
Yeah, I think they're right.
Okay. There's been some movement of aircraft and ships that we've heard about as well.
Speaking of saber rattling,
so do we? So sorry, really quick. So do we think that there's still another shoe to drop in that conflict that's going to affect a lot of these stocks that we're looking at? Okay, so you're still kind of waiting for that. Okay.
Saber, SABR, this is still climbing, coming up to a resistance area. If you want to draw a trend line, you could start with the 9 o'clock high and drop the high at 920. That's where we might see this price go to. I don't know if it's going to break out of there or not, but that's where it looks like it's headed. We are, what is this? We're at 126 was the high, and that is at about, so basically another 5 cents from the high of this candle, and we're there. Looks like SNSE is also trying to come back up to the VWAP and move through that. AUD, after coming near the 200 EMA, is trying to turn around as well, although that's going to have a bit of a challenge getting up through this consolidation from the pre-market. RXT getting support from its VWAP, but it has a large seller in the way at 130. Not sure if this there's enough volume to get through that. It might be, but we'll see. And StubHub back up to where it was yesterday's open.
Did we actually get a tradable move out of that? I took it off my screen.
We did.
Yes, we did.
Yeah, this thing made a 52-cent move from the low. And it's, it's funny. It went right to the low of yesterday. Right to the low of yesterday and turned around and went to the open of yesterday. Can't make this up.
Nope. And I'm thinking 925, probably the next spot here from looking at the chart.
Volume's really slowed down a lot of these names.
Well, we are almost at that 1030, 1015 right here. So I think we can probably expect that.
Yeah. And the only other thing I'd be watching is if Sabre goes to that trend line. And it looks like it's trying to make its way there.
So I am kind of waiting on PanW here. Let's see if we can get through this 65 EMA. I would actually have your next spot here, probably 154-ish.
Yeah, Rocket Lab coming up. Actually, we are recapturing the 50-day SMA today. Right now we're doing it. And hopefully we hold above it. We're approaching the... I have a channel here, a parallel channel, and we're coming up to the middle of that as well. That's going to be about 76.50. So coming up to, it's great that we've recaptured the 50-day SMA, but we're coming up to some resistance at that mid channel and the 20-day SMA. So we'd like to see if we can get past that. Hopefully we do. I think that this eventually gets to 110.
Still watching PanW here. See, is there anything else?
I'm pleasant your stock nerding. You're right.
Well, that's true. That is facts. I don't like to argue facts today. We need him. That is for sure. Now, I haven't seen anything great here on the options scanner today.
Well, I mean, like I
Reddit call by
that was brought up. There could be de-risking. So just let's see what happens after those meeting minutes. 10% of well, you got to give me a second here. Okay. I think I have one for you, Joe, but I don't want to say something inappropriate. 10% of Vegas.
I'm dying.
What's that?
I said I'm dying to know what the joke is.
Well, it's when I sign off. I'll say it.
Okay. Oh gosh, I'm nervous, but still kind of anxious. Still kind of can't wait. Jay, you don't like Palo Alto? Not cheap, and the guide was poor, so I'm staying away. I'll tell you what. I like to move through 151.27.
Looks like things started to slow down here. All of a sudden, everything kind of turned red, except RXT. That's still trying to push up here after getting some support from the VWAP.
Maybe it's interesting. I know you're talking about some of the movers there, but the broader market actually looking pretty decent. SPY, Dow, NASDAQ, all at highs. Palo Alto at highs, Palantir at highs. We talked about Palantir yesterday. Tesla still at the highs.
Microsoft back over 4.
Microsoft back over 400. Do you think that is setting up for a bounce or no? Microsoft.
Oh yeah, I think it might not be too long before we say goodbye to these prices forever.
Yeah, then you said that yesterday.
Mm-hmm. What's going on with Mulek? I don't
know. It's MLEC. I missed that one earlier, but I can bring it on screen here. I'm still looking at this Palo Alto. This just got out of a halt, right?
Mulek?
Yep, resumed just now, MLEC, and it actually poked a little bit higher. Let's see what direction this is going here.
Yeah, making new highs right now. Although this candle may be a little concerning. It looks like it could be a reversal if we can't go higher. If we can't, if it closes like this, we don't want it to look like a hammer at the top of this rally.
Here, and then Tom, here's the headline for you. We'll throw that in the chat.
Looks like StubHub still trying to push higher. Sabre coming up to that trend line. We just hit it. Fantastic.
Okay, let me go to that. Sorry, 13. I was a little slow here. I noticed that the Coinbase CEO is on TV on CNBC right now with a senator. They're talking crypto banking license. Looked like they're in the White House too. So I just wanted to see what coin was doing. But here's Sabre right to the trend line, as you mentioned.
Yep.
I think this is definitely a take gains spot, at least on partial. All of those trades from the 65 EMA or the VWAP cross were good.
Take gains and raise stops is the
I think that's smart.
Here. Yep.
I think that's smart.
RXT still trying to push up toward that 140 area, but I don't know. Man, there's a lot of volume traded in RXT. Let's see. Mulek Sciences subsidiary announces data.
Oh boy.
Oh yeah.
Big call sweep in StubHub. Oh no, excuse me, put sweep. The $10 puts expiring February 20th. So this week, traders spent $1 million buying 10,000 contracts.
They hate it too.
I mean, that's the first really big sweep I've seen here. Interestingly enough, it was followed by a CZR call sweep. These are the 1850s. I almost wonder if this was profit taking. 2.6 mil sold 8,000 contracts. That's in the money. Oh, you know what? Wing. I looked at that briefly earlier when someone mentioned it, and then I took it off my screen. That was trading high up, gap and go. Here you go on Wing. Darn it.
Oh wow, look at that.
Darn it. This one would have been a decent trade too, honestly. Darn it.
Good
reminder though, Jay. Damn.
They're reporting the earnings from the football season.
Yep.
RXT.
I love the chuckle right there. You just chuckled and moved on as if you knew that this was going to happen. That was phenomenal.
Well, it's something we talked about, isn't it?
Yeah.
All the food names. What's Domino's Pizza looking like right now?
And yes, Jay, really, I'll go to Domino's next, but really quick, Jay's asking, it has big short interest, 17.33% of the float shorted, 7.61 days to cover. Indeed, that's probably playing into this, Jay. Now, you were asking about Domino's Pizza 13. Here's DPZ.
How about that?
Oh, look, they're all trading higher. This has earnings in 5 days. Is there a sympathy play here on Domino's?
You know what? Hopefully this isn't a rally into the earnings where it could sell. Let's see, we have it on Monday. That's when their earnings is. Let's take a look at the daily chart. Oh, this thing has been getting hammered. So probably not. I'd say that this probably has more upside if earnings are good. I don't think it'll be one of those sell the news things because we haven't really been rising into earnings. We're kind of selling off into earnings and. This day, I think that's just a relationship trade with the stop. We could end up going, lower after today, but if we don't, then I keep an eye on rejection at 400 ahead of earnings. But
this was a Buffett buy. Thank you, Jay. So this was a Buffett buy from those 13Fs.
Perfect.
Daniel saying, Ryan, did you largely close your memory plays after earnings? I don't have any memory plays on. The last memory play that I had there was the mud trade, the short on Micron and a regression back to the mean. Ended up taking a small loss on that one.
And so far, Sabre not able to get past the trend line that we drew. Kind of just slowed down right there.
You mean the take gain spot that we talked about?
The take gain spot we talked about.
Okay, just as long as we get that out there.
RXT coming up to 139, not able to get to 140, the high of the regular session quite yet. That might be where the party ends unless there's a little bit more volume that starts to come in right here. And Sabre trying to push through the trend line. SNSE after the sell-off, it's trying to turn around here, recapturing VWAP right now.
SNSE, bring that up here. Palo Alto looks like that might be trying to push higher. GEV is higher. Look at SNSE. Look at the bounce off the top of the fair value gap, guys.
Daniel, I didn't have memory plays. I had mud. I had a memory short, and I did close that following the drop in Micron. So that's all I have. That I was. Yeah, they have been after VEL. That's fine. I still think it's a great company. Just let things play out. They're building literally the most advanced components for the most advanced rocket on the face of the earth. I'm not worried about this getting hammered. NEM, great. AEM, WPM, KG.
Those are all the miners moving with gold.
Yep. All right. RSP trying to take out 140 again. Lots of sellers in the way.
Rhyme, this actually continued higher. Whoever was on that, I didn't trade that one myself, but that's moving higher here. RXT, maybe back to the trend line, 13?
If it can break 140, yeah. We've got Redbook retail sales. It says it's up 7.2% year over year. Housing starts, building permits, both up. I don't see this Iran news though.
Yeah, neither do I.
All right, so still waiting for some that breakout over 140 for RXT. And what are the other ones looking? Okay, so StubHub, a little bit of a pullback here.
And then Kathy mentioning the earnings here tonight. Here's a look at your earnings calendar for today.
All right, so we have
Carvana tonight.
Yeah,
position there.
EQX.
Oh, did you want me to go back to that? Sorry, 13. My bad.
Oh, it's okay. Yeah, EQX, another one to keep an eye on. Now, TAP. That's
Molson Coors.
Yeah, that's Molson Coors. I didn't realize that was their logo. Kind of interesting to me. I thought they had a different logo. All right.
It might be. I think that's just, it might have pulled the, I don't know. I'm pretty sure that they do confirm report earnings after the close today, though.
We're about to get a golden cross here with TAP. So if earnings are good, I think that would be a guaranteed golden cross.
Okay.
There is resistance at the 500. So if earnings are good, we should be able to get past that in a matter of days. There's also I have a trend line here. Just going to extend that out. It's above the 500. So still need to see the 500 get taken up. But yeah, this thing has been going kind of sideways for a little bit. Tried to recover in 2023. Didn't really do a whole lot. Looks like $70 is the big resistance area. If we can break this trend line, that's about $20 away from here. Lots of things that I could like about TAP. But let's see what the earnings has for us.
Palo Alto coming up to the trend line. Let's see if we break this.
Redwire getting a mention. That's a really nice move it's had today. This thing been on a bit of a rally, kind of flagging up here. This looks like if we get a little bit more volume pretty soon here, we could take out that 868 high we put in, maybe even C9. But I don't know how great this is going to be because we're talking rate cuts, we're talking all these the Fed meeting minutes, and we're getting a little bit of a rally in small caps. I don't know if it's going to last once those meeting minutes come out. By the way, RXT a little bit higher. We went 144, not quite to 150 yet. We haven't hit the trend line again, but this one just a slow climber.
I'm adjusting my trend line because it looks like that's getting tested here. Speaking of trend line, here's Palo Alto. We are coming up to it. Palo Alto, not bad today. Not bad.
Really don't have a whole lot to add to some of these positions. Just kind of waiting for some things to happen. Like RTX, is this going to go higher than 144? Is it going to hit 150 in our trend line again? Just waiting for that to happen. SNSE, is this going to get back above VWAP? Waiting for that to happen. Sabre, is it going to break over this trend line after testing it twice, or is it going to come back in to the 125 area, maybe even VWAP for support? Waiting for that to happen. So just a lot of waiting right here with a lot of these names we've been looking at.
I'll tell you what, the trend line there on Sabre, that was absolutely the sell spot.
Yeah.
Absolutely. PanW getting rejected at that trend line as we speak. I noticed that Wingstop was on here, but it just disappeared on me.
It flew away. Now it looks like we're getting a little bit more weakness in some of these names as we approach the 10:30 volume exit moment.
And SPY here sitting right at 688. So we did continue the rally here. Doing a good job flagging higher than this. We'll see here on SPY. Would love for a move above 690. I don't know if we'll get that here today. So far, so good, though. Breath is good across the board.
Yep.
All right.
Hopefully it's just a pullback we get, and then we can push higher later on. But yeah.
Any closing words for the group before we get over to story trading here? Ooh, I didn't mean for me to be that big. Sorry, guys. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, keep an eye on RXT. I heard that they're coming out with some kind of undergarment, a bra perhaps. So keep an eye on that for any headlines. Given that their name is Rackspace Technology, I would imagine that that kind of fits well within their wheelhouse. So take care, everybody. I'll see you tomorrow. Make sure that you aren't sticking around in these positions because it seems like these are volumes really starting to drift, and we could end up seeing some of these sell-offs. So keep your capital around. I'll see you tomorrow. We'll trade some more. Take care.
All right, 13 really good stuff here today. We will see you tomorrow. Have a good rest of your Wednesday. All right, folks, it is time to move over to story trading. I don't see Ben, but we'll bring on Rhett here. What happened there? There's Rhett. I see Ben here, but I don't see his camera on. We'll also bring on Laptop Travel. We'll see how he's doing. Up there's Ben. There we go. There's Ben. How you guys doing here today?
What's up?
Pretty good, Ryan.
Doing all right. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right, man. PanW earnings. That was an all right trade here so far. What do you guys got coming up?
I don't know, man. It's 10:30, and you know the market is laptop and Rhett. You know this so many times has reversed at 10:30. Is the party over for today? I don't know.
Are you asking us?
Yeah,
it looks like it may start
absolutely.
curling over here. So we had some resistance around 608 on the Qs. We're starting to see this turnover now, but at the same time, I think we could possibly bounce as well. This market is pretty strong and a lot of good looking charts out there today.
So, all right, let's start with the Qs and USO and war and everything like that. So, this chart all of a sudden turned okay. All right, I've been bearish Qs for several days now, correctly, but you know I've been saying there's still risk to 580, and I think that risk to 580 is still there. But man, it looks so much better. The daily chart all of a sudden today looks so much better. I'm not sure the reason for it. I wrote in the morning note about this 245 billion in treasury bills that matured yesterday. Maybe that injecting some liquidity into the market. But the daily chart at the moment looks so much better. But you got to be cognizant of risks to the downside with Iran possibly getting kinetic. I mean, USO up 3%, while my timeline since yesterday has just exploded regarding the major buildup of U.S. aircraft into the Middle East. Poly market also for the first time exploding this morning with the odds of a strike on Iran really going up, really going vertical here today. So that's a worry, but you can't deny that for the moment, the daily chart on the Qs looks so much better. And then when you drill into specific charts, almost every chart's the same, which is basically it looks like everything is heading towards the moving average above, right? So like for AMPX, 50 DMA would be your target there at 250. Let's see, ASTS again, that 50 DMA or the gap fill there is your target. I mean, there's so many charts that look like this right now. But I worry a little bit, you know, I'm kind of just like scalping rather than saying the bottom's in, just because I think no matter how good this chart looks like, you can get an overnight gap down to 580 if there's war in Iran. And by the way, that would be a crazy buying opportunity. You buy the crap out of that if that happens, in my opinion. So I don't know. That's my overall thoughts there. Laptop, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I've been very cautious in the last several days, ever since the great spikes with silver. And
Exactly. That's when our cautiousness started. We actually timed it to the day on silver. I wrote a note. I went to like yellow alert. I'm like, I said something looks like it's about to break, and that was the day that silver peaked. I'm like, because when you get like crazy parabolic moves like that, well, that's what happens. Things break because that starts like margin calls, either direction, right? You get this craziness that happens. It never ends well when you get parabolic moves like that. So that is exactly. Thanks for reminding me. That's when we started getting cautious.
yeah, and I think it's just a lot of things are going on. There is no interest rate decision this month. It's February. We'll get an FOMC meeting in March, but we're still going to get some economic data coming in, especially this Friday. Still, this ongoing conversation about AI overspending. I think even the government has said Trump believes that, was it Trump or the government? Somebody said that AI is a drain on the national grid, and that consumers are paying for that, and we need to figure out a way around that. So, uh, a lot of concerns with AI spending, capex, and it seems like every day there's a new AI name that comes out, and we hear about these deals. And of course, geopolitical concerns that you talked about with Iran. Everyone's got a wait and see attitude. I'm in that camp. I was almost 100% in cash early this morning after making one or two good trades, and now I am cautiously going back in the market. I couldn't turn away from the moves today. Very positive, but I'm very cautious here.
Yeah.
I do think to answer your question about have we hit the peak here today? No, we see a lull. It's the not midday, but it's the morning pause. I think around what I consider East Coast lunchtime, and that I think that the markets, barring anything happening geopolitically with Iran in the next few hours, I think the market goes for higher highs today, and then we hold our breath again overnight.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think here it is, that 20 DMA on the Qs. That could potentially be the target. And again, so many charts have that similar trajectory with that target just being the moving average just above it. Um, so very, very interesting setup. Brett, what are your thoughts?
In terms of the indices, I think we're gonna probably go up and touch the 20-day moving average as well. The charts are looking strong. Like Nvidia chart looks pretty good. It's breaking out of this consolidation area. Apple's been very resilient in this market. In terms of today, I think we probably will test 260, 655 for Apple. If we continue this move to the upside. And then if we can break through that, I mean, it's off to the races.
Wow,
again for
man, this
Apple.
Apple chart's so volatile. I haven't even looked at this craziness over here with Apple. Wow.
But yeah, we did a nice bounce area on Nvidia, so that is nice to see. But yeah, that's my thoughts.
Cool.
And we
All
do
right,
have the Apple event coming, I believe March 4th. So there's always a lot of optimism heading into that event.
Okay,
Yeah.
let's drill into a couple specific names. I'm just going to start. I'm not organized. I usually try to organize my watch list beforehand, but I didn't get to it today. So I just want to start with a couple war hedge ideas that I really, really like. One of them that I've been playing very successfully, which is RTX. Another one, ESLT. So actually, let me do ESLT first. Well, actually, let me let me show you the swatch list of the majors. Right, you can see Lockheed Martin all-time new high today. Okay, Northrop Grumman almost there. RTX almost there. Okay, but now we have this ESLT, which is an Israeli major. We'll call it a $33 billion market cap, which has had two significant contracts on back-to-back days. Okay, yesterday on ESLT they got a $435 million in contracts. Okay, And then today they announced another 277 million in contracts. So that's like 700 million in contracts over 2 days. But just look at this chart. It needs to catch up with the majors, right? They're all basically at all-time new highs or right about. But ESLT used to be at 740, pulled back here to 715 with an RSI that looks really constructive. It's not overbought again yet. And the best part, if there is going to be action in Iran, Israel will for sure be deeply involved. The Air Force will be deeply involved, and the IDF. So that's going to improve sentiment, which it has in the past. With I don't know if you can pinpoint where was it. It was probably June. When was that 12-day war? Was it in June that 12-day war? Is probably here. It was probably this gap up. Okay, so let's see. It closed at 430, and then 2 days later it was 474. In 2 days, you got a $45 move after that 12-day war started. I think that's probably the date there. So I think you're going to see the same thing. I think this is a great war hedge, and I'm going to actually. I decided I'm going to swing it. I got in at 710 this morning, and I just alerted the Discord community that I'm going to swing this for a target of 740 plus. So that's a great war hedge. Okay. Another war hedge that I've been playing very successfully is RTX. Buying the dips, and it keeps coming back, buying the dips, selling the rips. I've been doing it with call options, 200 strike to a 250 strike to a 5 strike, the weeklies. This week I'm focused on rolling into the next week's 205s. I think Laptop, you were interested in that as well. So here's another one that looked poised to me to break to 650 even without a war, right? All the other ones just did it, or about to a break to all-time new highs. And this one fundamentally has the most to benefit from a war that's heavy on missiles and missile defense. RTX is the one that's going to have the most revenue replenishment from all of those missiles and anti-missile defense systems. So this, you're going to see 206.50 at any time. And then if there is a war, if you want to hedge, this thing's probably going to gap over 210 easily the morning after if Iran gets kinetic. So those are two war hedge ideas for you. Speaking of hedges, I think it's a good time to bring up TLT here. This is actually my largest position is TMF, which is 3 times TLT right now. This is a new cover. I don't think we talked about this last Wednesday because this break above the 200-week moving average happened late in the week last week. And also, I think it was Thursday, there was a very strong bond auction, like kind of unprecedented numbers. So very strong bond auction, CPI coming in light. We have starting to hear increased chatter about the deflationary impact of AI. Okay, something, I've always believed in productivity offsetting inflation and not really having too many worries long-term about inflation. And now people specifically attributing that to AI and the deflationary impact on AI because of automation. So you have all these factors coming together for bullish bonds, and then you have this 200-week moving average break. Guess what? The last time you broke above the 200-week moving average, 7 years ago, guys. You got to go back 7 years ago right here for the last, this is December 2018, for the last break above the 200-week moving average. And look what happened. It back tested it here a little bit on March 1st, but it was basically off to the races for, I think that was 9 months, December through August, call it 8 months. In 8 months, TLT rose 20. Oh, kept on going. Sorry, 8 months rose 20%. And then what is that? Hold on. From December through 2020, is that a year and a half, year and 3 months? 50%, 60% move in like 15, 16 months. So it went on this bullish cycle. We may be at the start of that. TLT right now, I'm playing it via TMF, 3x lever TLT alongside is basically my cash position now in my trade account. So I have a big position. I'm treating it like cash. I'm also in some August TLT call options, or was it December? Let me see. Let me just double check what I got on TLT here. It's November 20th, $100 calls. So November 20th, $100 calls. If past this is precedent, then those can pay 5, 6, 7 times by the time November rolls around. So also a good hedge for war, flight to safety. So I'm all hedged up with ESLT and RTX and TLT. So that's that. But then you got today's beautiful move in the Qs. Look at that while we're talking Qs. You were right there, laptop, but just a little rest and then popping right back up again. So I don't know. I think I said this at the top of the show. I'm really kind of scalping in my look. My long term account's my long term account. I don't trade much in there. Okay, and it's up. I'm up about 3% today, so I'm enjoying the benefits of that today. In my trade account, I'm still being very cautious. You know, I do think we have a reprieve here today and tomorrow if there's no overnight action in Iran. But my mentality is more just like intraday scalps and swings. And maybe I'm making a mistake and leaving a lot of money on the table. But that's my thoughts. I'll pause there.
Yeah. By the way, your example on the Treasury, the TLT, that was actually a 53% run.
Wow. Yeah. Over like, what was it? 12, 14 months or something like that. That's crazy. That's a huge run. If you can time treasuries with options, you get paid big because the options on TLT are usually very cheap.
I see 20 months.
20 months, yeah, 50% over 20 months. That's massive. Yeah. I mean, let's see if that happens again, 50% over 20 months. You're talking about $135. And if you go 20 months out, $135. Even if you get these leaps, all right, let me just see. I'm not going that far out, but if you get these leaps, it's a 10-time return. 10-time return on these call options. So I'm the November. Hopefully we'll get a 10-time return in the November ones. We'll see. All right. So that's that. I'm going to pause there. I mean, there's a lot of individual stocks. I'm sure we'll talk about it. MU, my largest position in my retirement account, doing great. Let me just touch on Netflix actually before I turn it over to you guys. I am in Netflix. I bought call options yesterday. I added to my call options today. And now that the market's kind of turned, I'm kind of even more bullish about this short term. We've had a series of opinions which kind of match my own that has come out since yesterday from the co-CEO of Netflix on CNBC yesterday, Gary Black this morning, and myself. And that opinion basically says that with this 7-day extension or waiver that Netflix put out there for Paramount to make a bid for Warner, that's basically, I'm viewing that as the final timeline. And that after these 7 days, which is now 6 days left, I guess, that this uncertainty will be gone. Either Netflix will buy them or they won't, right? So we're nearing the end of this period of uncertainty. And I really do believe, and I've said this throughout this decline here, that the drop has been more about just uncertainty rather than they hate the deal or they love the deal. I know there's also some drop here about AI and the impact on video. That may be having an impact as well, video content creation. But I think the primary reason for this is uncertainty of this deal. And now there's only 6 days left to have certainty. I think the bottom may be in for Netflix. I'm in $78 weekly calls right now. With a little bit of luck, who knows? Maybe we can hit the 20 DMA by the end of this week there at like $81. Turn it over to you guys.
Okay. I'll talk about what I see as scalping and trading right now. Yeah, great today. The market looks good. Again, I like the caution no matter what. It's always caution flags up on the field about Iran. That changes anything. However, a huge dip by the dip. But day by day, I think we have to be aware of how institutional money is looking at things. So Friday we have the GDP release. And so we need to look at that. Personal income and spending also comes out. I believe they both come out at 8:30 in the morning on Friday morning. And then we have the
Wow, look
University
at
of
USO.
Michigan.
Sorry, I'm just sorry. USO for me, this is your main signal, and it's a great one. And you don't even need to look at your news feed to see like what's going on with Iran. The price action in USO tells you all you need to know about risks of an Iran attack. So just keep that on watch. Sorry, go ahead.
And then also, University of Michigan comes out with their consumer sentiment final review. So, the focus for the GDP and the December price index is, we're looking for reasonable numbers in the 2.5 to 2.8 range. And talking about inflation and deflation, we're looking for those numbers to be in 2.9 to 3%. So numbers outside of that could have a reaction. I think the market's looking for any kind of news. When it comes to defense stocks, I really, really like RTX. For people maybe you're not familiar with the name, Raytheon.
Look at it
Called
go.
Raytheon. Everyone knows Raytheon, and I think I love that stock.
Well, look at it go. Did he pick up some of these calls on the dip there?
Me?
Yeah.
I did not. I stuck with my original calls.
Yeah. Yeah, Raytheon, special place in my heart. My father used to work for them. Yeah.
My dad worked for Lockheed Martin.
Really cool.
Oh yeah.
Look at that. We got something in common there.
Yeah.
My dad's a
Yeah,
civil
I'm still
engineer.
holding on to the 205 February 27th for RTX.
Yeah, that's the one I've been loading up on today. I got my average down to let me see. Got my average down to 320. 320. What you're in at 365, I think?
My cost is 365. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm right at the midpoint. So I'm break even with my average downs I did this morning. But I'm in the 200 calls expiring this week as well, which I'm up nicely on.
FIG just had news, Claude partnership.
Who?
FIG.
Fig. Oh, Fig is. I've never researched this, but Fig was the news this morning. Oh, look at that. Another chart moving right to the 20 DMA, 2490. Let's pull up Benzinga Pro here. Fig. I actually don't see it on Benzinga yet.
It came from Oracle NYSE. Someone just posted it in there.
Okay, it's in our Discord. Not yet on Benzinga Pro. But some news on Fig. I've never looked into this. There's been a lot of chatter about it. Something wrong with my chart. How do I fix this? What's going on?
Someone's asking in the chat a little bit ago. They're asking about PBI. I know you commented about that earlier.
Yeah. PBI they had earnings last night. I think it's an excellent stock for a portion of your retirement account. Like, I haven't been disciplined about this, but I should be. I should take a portion of my retirement account and put it things like dividend payers, high cash flow companies. Like, I should have had Zim in there. I would have had PBI in there. I did have PBI for an extended period of time in my retirement account, but what's wrong with my chart? I got to reset this. There's a button here somewhere. Where's that button to reset this? Oh, auto. Okay. So yeah, I didn't have it into this earnings report. My kids did though. They've had it for like a couple years, but a very interesting situation. Look, it's not sexy. It's not a growth company, but the cash flow they're throwing off is just insane, and the amount of buybacks they're doing is crazy. Like, they can buy back like 20% of the company over the next 12 months, and they've already bought back a significant portion of it. So you'll see the stock kind of being forced up and to the right over time just because of the cash flow and the buybacks. But the top line revenue keeps declining, and so it's not sexy, and it's not going to go to like $20 unless they get that top line to accelerate again. There is a big short position because of that. So from time to time, you can have some interesting price action in it. But as far as like today, I have better things to do. As far as like a retirement account stock, and again, if that's what you want a portion of retirement account to be cash flow, dividends, lower risk. You can put some PBI in there for sure. And it was a good report, but unfortunately, revenue is still just drip, drip, drip declining until they have some plans. They're trying to turn that around, but it's just not happening yet. So that's my thoughts on PBI. Man, and look at this USO, so strong here this morning. TL, I just feel so good having my cash position be TLT right now. It feels great. All right. Just a couple other things I wanted to get to here. Let's see. Those Qs look really strong. Jeez Louise. Of course, RXT we played this morning a little bit. Rackspace, I used to be a customer of theirs for a dating site that I own. Great service, really great hosting company. But I think little by little, they're just losing money to Amazon Web Services. It's really good for companies that don't have a strong in-house IT staff. They're basically your IT staff on call 24/7. Amazing, amazing customer service. You're not going to get that from AWS. We did eventually switch to AWS because we have someone take care of that interfacing, handling those issues. But at one point, we just felt really comfortable having Rackspace because of the, unparalleled customer service they have for hosting. Really, really amazing. I can't say enough about it. But over time, the revenue drip going down little by little, right? You can see the PS ratio here is extraordinarily low because they have a lot of debt. Okay. I'm not sure how much debt, but it's like in the billions. That's why their PS ratio is like 0.12. Okay. Might make it look attractive superficially, but they got to start paying off that debt. This deal with Palantir lifts sentiment, right? I jumped in here. Usually I avoid shitcos, but this one I knew it was not a shitco. I know they have a debt problem, but it's a real company with a great product. So jumped in this morning at 66 cents. Got an average exit up there, probably in the 120s. Laptop, you did great. What was your exit? Was it 136? Was it
80% at 134 and the rest at 136?
Yeah, so that was great. So for now, this is like a sentiment play based on the Palantir headline, but this partnership with Palantir will not bring in significant revenue in the near term that can address the debt problem. So it's a little bit tricky. I think there may be some, who knows? I don't know. We'll look at it. Because I exited this in pre-market after a nice win, but then I got back in because I was looking at the strength intraday. So maybe there's more opportunities today. But I just would not necessarily call this a turning point for the company. I would have to research it more. I just don't know enough about it. But if this was a revenue deal, for sure. If this was a revenue deal, I'd still be in it probably. But there's no revenue yet with this Palantir deal. So I would say, like, who knows, like 180, and it might be in play anyway. Laptop. Look at the weekly chart. 180 could be in play. 186. But because there's no revenue attached to this, I just don't have the conviction. There's probably going to be a lot of shorts in this name who still knock this down because they're worried about the debt, rightfully so. But a very interesting developments here with RXT, interesting price action, and we'll be looking at this afternoon. You think there's going to be more opportunities in this today, or are we done with it?
I feel like we're pretty much done with it. A lot of people made good money and will be turning it over.
Yeah, I made good money on it today. So, but we'll keep an eye on it. Okay, I got to mention a couple other names. By the way, in my morning note this morning, FTAI was a top pick with a $300 target. We hit 298. So CDZI was a top pick with a 550 target. We hit 546. Quick. Okay. Interesting, man. I've talked about this on this show before, and I've held a core for probably a couple months. And yesterday I noticed this crazy candle. And then today they had some news, continuation of the great news that they've had a contract with the government for radiation hardened chips, which is for space use. This is a hidden space play. And I just, I'm very happy holding a core position in this because I think at $131 million market cap and the size of these contracts they're getting here, $13 million here this morning. Let me pull up Benzinga Pro for a second on this. They've had now multiple contracts. So this is 13 million. But on Thursday, December 18th, it said QuickLogic expands prime U.S. government contract scope, raising the ceiling value to $88 million. Okay, so part of that $88 million ceiling, they just got 13 of that 88 million here today. So I really think that this stock has not participated. Let's go to the space stocks here for a second. You know, when you look at, especially, by the way, this this Quick, okay, they've been working with SkyT on this project. Okay, so Quick and SkyT are partners in this particular project. But Quick is the lead. Okay, Quick is the, I guess, you know, I'm not too familiar with the government terminology and everything, but they're the prime. What's it called? Anyone know what this is? They're the prime, whatever. They're the prime, and SkyT is like the partner.
Vendor?
Yeah, they're the prime vendor, I guess, for this, and SkyT is the partner on it. And you see what happened to SkyT. Eventually, I think they got bought out. It doesn't look like they're bought out by that chart. Must be a stock deal. Who bought them? I forget. Do you remember who bought SkyT? Let's see here. SkyT. Where is it?
IONQ.
IonQ bought them. It must have been a stock deal based on the stock chart here, not a cash deal or a hybrid that's mostly stock. But in any case, yeah,
It
you
was
saw
cash
how
and stock.
cash and stock.
I remember.
So
Yeah.
might be an arb opportunity in there. But in any case, like look at SkyT versus Quick. You know, especially if you pull out a little bit and look at the market caps, you know, and look at like Lunar or look at Fly. Wow, Fly really came back down. Jeez Louise. Remember, this was a January effect pick for us initially. It did pretty good. But I just think the hype has not come to Quick yet, and I think it can easily come to it. So I've been saying for a while that I'm going to hold on a core until we get some volume in this name and social media chatter and a move towards $10. That's my thought process on Quick. They also do have earnings March 3rd, though, so that's something that could either enhance that thesis or take away from it. So we'll have to decide what to do around that earnings report. But Quick, now you have two things. You have this candle here with volume coming out of nowhere, plus you have the contract, 13 million contract this morning on $131 million market cap on an $88 million potential deal with the U.S. government on space chips, right? You'd think there'd be a lot more hype around this name, and I think it's going to come. So I'm going to hold a core in Quick until that hype comes around to Quick.
Yeah, and Quick is back on the terminology. They are a prime contractor, official term with U.S. government, which means they have a direct, legally binding contract with the federal
Cool.
government, as opposed to others which are preferred vendors,
Mhm.
which you can or cannot use.
Wow, that's great. That's beautiful, Quick. As we see, QQQ is still rising, and AMPX, one of my favorite stocks right now. And I'm wondering if I just don't have enough exposure. I mean, this is actually my biggest winner of the year so far is AMPX. We really did a great job riding this from the trigger was when they announced that their ATM was canceled. That's when I like really piled into this. In fact, let's look up that date here on AMPX. It must have been somewhere end of December, early January. Let me see if I can find it here. And here it is. Okay, it was January 12th is when I really jumped into Quick. So a little bit late here. Okay, it was right here. Okay. January 12th, where I jumped into Quick with size, and it ended up this move from about $10 to almost 15 with call options as well. Ended up being my biggest winner of 2026 so far and helping me outperform for the year up. I don't know, what am I up? Like 35, 36% year to date right now. A lot of that was because of AMPX. and I have it in my retirement account as well. This thing's been beaten down to a pulp. Oh my gosh, from 15. When is their earnings report? Earnings report March 2nd to March 6th coming up soon. So I don't know. I wonder if I should have a bigger core right now, guys. I worry about when I look at the daily chart, although this looks to have resolved. Like before this candle today, looking at these red candles here, although that was a nice maybe turnaround candle. I've been worried, and I put it in even in the morning note, I think, that there's risk a downside risk to 850, which is a 200 DMA. And I think that could transpire if there was an attack on Iran and if QQQ gapped down in the low 580s, then you would see AMPX gap down to 850. Maybe I'm being too cautious, guys. Should I be like loading up on AMPX right now?
Brett?
I mean, look, I own this one long term. The chart, I think long term it's great, but I mean, if the market can, like with the news, if news comes out with war and all that, I think it's going to get pulled down even farther. So that's just my thoughts. I would really love to pick it up if we get down near like 850s. If war headlines do break out, I think we probably would see that level. And once it gets on the daily near the 200-day moving average, that's when I'll add more. I'm actually underwater on this name actually at the moment. In my
Yeah,
account.
I hear you, but it may not happen. It may not happen. I'm in the April 17th $12 call, so I am swinging a core there, but it's like small. I have a 0.9% allocation. Like when I made this big money here, I was at like 10-15% common shares, 2-3% call options, and it really helped make my year so far. Right now, all I have is less than a 1% position in call options right now. What do you think, Laptop? Is it time to load up into a bigger swing position, or am I doing the right thing, playing it cautious?
I would play cautious at this time. Here's what I think. I mean, I'm trying to stay in as much cash as I can. Yeah, I'm doing these trades when I feel very confident in the trade, but I'm staying in cash because I'm anticipating something to happen with Iran.
Look at
And
the
the second that
cues.
it does, and there's a drop,
Yeah.
then I'm going in.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's a better play for me with the numbers financially.
And what
The
happens
game,
if we're wrong? What happens if and is it
you're gonna
possible?
lose money by being wrong.
Yeah. But
But if you go in and you're wrong, then you're gonna lose money.
and then the other thing is it possible that you go into Iran, but the market doesn't gap down, it's just like gaps up. Is that
Yeah,
possible?
that's I could see that. I could see that happening in 30 minutes.
Yes. Yeah, I tend to agree with that. I tend to agree that the pre-market, if it's an overnight action, the pre-market you'll be down sharply, and that'll be an amazing buying opportunity. Amazing.
Exactly.
You
Just
gotta, yeah,
be
make sure you
have to
have
be
your
awake
cash
with it.
ready and you pounce on that like crazy. Yeah, that's been the pattern. The pattern has been anytime there's military action, the pre-market's always down big, and then it recovers big. So I'm counting on that same thing to happen again. So,
I I do want to put a plug in for Intel
yeah, let's do it.
because Nvidia's, bought more of
That's
Intel
right. Yeah, I saw that last night.
and they've got a huge order with now Meta, Facebook, and for Nvidia, and they're going to rely on Intel, I guess, to help with that. So I think Intel's been run down a little bit, and I think it's a good opportunity here to buy Intel. The government has
Yeah.
a stake in it. Nvidia has a stake in it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I own Intel since the government got involved in my long-term account. Um, wait a second. I think I may have reduced it. Hold on. Let me just check my retirement account here. Intel's a great one. Really like it with the government support and Nvidia support. Ooh, when did I do that? I did reduce Intel. Maybe I'm gonna pick it back up here and increase my position again. It must have been when the market started turning and I was raising a little bit of cash. Wow. I'm gonna step back in and buy a little bit of Intel here. Yeah, thanks for that. Thanks for that here. And I'm not too price sensitive in my long-term account.
Yeah.
I make changes now and then to raise cash, but this is not. I don't want to play with this trade plan that we have on war. Like, I don't want to mess with that in my retirement account. That's for my hot money short-term account. So I don't care if I buy it a little bit higher here right now. Thanks for that reminder, because I do really like Intel, and my position size kind of small. All right, good. So I just added more Intel to my retirement account there. Thank you.
And I see we have a comment. I was with this stock before. We had a comment from Billy, uh, who says FJet space stocks. Yeah, this is that crazy company. If you look at the chart, it went ballistic right after the IPO. I
It's not
think
on my list.
it came out at like $10. Was the IPO and ran up to
Starfighters. Oh, right,
32?
Starfighters.
Yeah, now the last 3 days, it's on a tear again.
Oh wow! Oh wow! 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 We missed this. Doubled in 2 days.
Yeah,
Wow. Yeah, I
they're
don't know.
because they're going to be launching rockets supposedly from fighter jets. A different style.
Hmm.
Get fighter jets up to altitude, and you need less fuel to
Mm-hmm.
do a vertical launch. So
Interesting. Yeah, I don't think I can chase it here right now. But congrats if you saw that. Look at that. Not only it went to the 20, but it broke the 20. Was there any news that catalyzed that? Let's see. FJet. Nothing official in the news feed. Oh wait, hold on. No, I don't see anything official. SpaceX IPO chatter has space stocks stuck on the pad. So yeah, there's been SpaceX, a lot of chatter around that with increasing valuations. I see some chatter that maybe can even IPO at $3 trillion. So maybe that's helping some outperformance in space stocks here.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. Redwire. When
Redwire
I
is
see that,
another one. Yeah, Redwire is another one that can make a move to that 50 DMA. 890 could be seen today. 890 next target on Redwire.
and that was a
Uh,
great stock for us for a January pick.
it that was my biggest winner until I met AMPX. Yeah, but so Redwire, I'm in $10 March calls on Redwire, which I'm underwater on right now. You know what? Maybe I'll add a little bit more. Average down. Yeah, I'm gonna add a little bit more Redwire right now. Because my average is $1.07 on those $10 calls in March. And I just added more. Don't know what my average is yet. It takes time for that to be calculated. But cool. Nice call out there. Brett, what's up with you? You've been quiet.
Yeah, kind of not doing much today. Was not really expecting these big moves today, so caught me off guard. Just kind of sitting on the sidelines at the moment. Nothing. I don't want to like chase anything up here. The only thing does look good probably to make new all-time high. I mean, all-time not all-time highs, but highs for the day is going to be MU. SanDisk printed new highs a little bit ago. MU
Oh,
looks
wow.
like it's going to do the same. The chart looks pretty
Wow.
decent there.
Yeah, that looks, wow, look at that.
I'm kicking myself for selling
Yeah,
those
no.
ASTS calls that I bought yesterday. Not swing those into today.
I'm in some ASTS common right now that I'm trying to day trade, but my entry was not great. I got in late today. But yeah, I mean ASTS again, maybe it can make it to I would say the target would be 88 to 91. 88 to 91 today or tomorrow if there's no
Yeah, definitely I agree there.
You know what? We're talking about like even if there's an Iran thing, that'll be mostly the drop would be mostly pre-market. So I would say even if there is, like you could still see. I would say 88 to 91 is your target regardless on ASTS right now. I would say end of week target 88 to 91. So a few
Yeah,
more
you,
bucks.
you make a plug for ASTS. I'm going to make a plug for EchoStar ASTS. Is what
SATS, right?
yeah, it's about to break out of this
Oh wow, look at
downward
that.
trend.
Yeah, that chart
I'm
looks a
looking at
little better.
145 in the near term.
Wow. Wow. I like this. And this is probably getting some strength on again because SpaceX saying they're getting to drones now as well. They made the shift from Mars to Moon, and then also they're making a play into the drone TAM as well. So I think that's
And
all helping the chatter about the IPO valuation, and that's going to help the SATS. How much SpaceX they own
2.9%, I believe.
of SpaceX?
Yes.
Wow, that's a lot. Today, 3% of a trillion. What is that? That's like 30 billion times. You could be talking about 50, 60, 70, 80 billion dollars potentially in SpaceX, right? And a market
Yeah.
cap of 33 billion.
Yeah.
Wow. That's something I think I got to consider. I missed the whole write up on the first run up with the SpaceX chatter.
And
This looks like
and
a really
and
nice setup right
and
here.
Elon's been talking up solar and watch solar make a
Mm-hmm.
big play in these uh in the exploration or colonization of the moon, and
Mm-hmm.
also with these satellite or satellite well, there's still satellite data centers that they're talking
Yep.
about. It's all going to be
Mhm.
solar powered, and Elon is already working on the 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 next tier
Yeah.
solar.
Yeah, and that's I think Redwires could be part of that, right?
Yeah, absolutely, yes.
Yeah, I think that was part of what caused this spike to 1450 was a lot of speculation or just thesis that they have some solar technology that can be helpful in space-based data centers. I don't know the technology or the story well, but that's part of why we had that run up there. So
And honestly, I'm not Trump, sorry, Elon has been relatively quiet. He hasn't really come out and said a lot of stuff like he did during the summer. And I'm it- the guy's not going to sit still for long, right? You watch it when he has all of his ducks in a row, he's going to come out with a whole bunch of tweets, and things are going to move. His stocks are going to move.
mhm, wow, look at MU, look at the Qs. I mean,
Yeah, MU
Yeah.
is great.
things are looking great. I wish I had MU on my trade account right now. Damn.
Yeah,
I've been
that's a
staring at it
$24
all
move.
morning, man. All morning I've been looking at
Yeah, there's
MU.
your new high for the day.
Yep, look at that. Look at that top
Um,
breakout. Holy smokes. Is that the Qs also doing that? Pretty much. Very
yeah, I was
similar.
gonna say
Well,
it's all relative. I mean, Q's are about to hit high a day as well here coming up.
Yeah.
609.48. We're at 609.25.
Look at FJET popping on that. So
Yeah.
things are really moving right now.
it says that the reason the market's moving today is because of good economic data on December capital goods new orders,
Whatever. That's just an excuse. I don't think.
December housing starts.
Someone's asking about VVPR. VVPR. Oh, this is a therapeutical company.
Yeah, I don't know it. I'm not
No, wait,
familiar.
hold on. No,
VVPR?
this isn't therapeutical.
34%.
VVPR.
Isn't this like a patent company or something? No,
Vivo
sustainable
Power
energy,
International PLC.
EVs. I've actually I don't know this company at all. Vivo Power. Wow, look at this
VVPR.
move. 120 to 327. Holy smokes. VVPR. See what Benzinga has to say about that.
Isn't that the company that made was doing electric engines or something in Canada? No.
Looks
Yeah,
like
electric
there is
UK.
looks like the board of directors maybe some are these insider buys? Hold on.
Yeah, you got Laptop
Yeah, yeah.
travel, right? It's
Insider
electric.
buys. So he had 2.65 million shares worth of insider buys by a few people on the board of directors. That's what's catalyzing this move here on VVPR. But wow, nice weekly chart. Nice daily.
Snap is moving off its lows right here. They're kind of going off of a model I was reading. I think it was like someone said it was like an OnlyFans model or something.
What? They're
You
competing with OnlyFans now?
No, not in that aspect. It's like with like how like you can pay like your creators or whatever that you like on Snapchat, something like that along those lines. To get
Oh,
more
there's supposed
access
to be
to them.
embedded payment within the app, I believe, right?
Yeah, something like that. But they're comparing it like your best example of that. I mean, it's not a good example, but that's what they were referring
Look,
to
I
that
mean,
as.
Snap had a really good earnings report. And it's definitely, I think it's pretty cheap. The problem is regulatory concern.
Yeah.
On this earnings call, I pinpointed it down. I was listening to the conference call and watching the price action at the same time. And when things started turning and going down, because initially it was up, and it started turning and going down when they said that they had to remove, I think it was 400,000 accounts in Australia due to that law in Australia.
For minors. Yeah.
Yeah, they said, yeah, we had to remove 400,000 accounts, and then the thing just reversed and never came back since then. Like, so yeah, everyone knew that was happening, but once it was like on paper, and they're like, oh, it actually really happened. Like, okay, then the people got really negative on this because then there's also, was it Spain? I think that wanted
Yep.
to follow in Australia's footsteps, and then I hear there's like
Few
different
other
things
countries.
happening. Yeah, but also in the United States on a state by state level, there's some things going on in certain states to try to, get age verification, the under 18 thing going on.
Texas has had that in for a long time. That creates a huge problem for the internet.
Yeah, without a doubt. Hey guys, check out someone put it out. I mean, this chart's pretty interesting. It's ATOM, ATOM.
Oh yeah.
ATO. I don't know this one.
Yep.
Atomera. Oh, I've heard of
Been
Atomera.
watching that.
Wow,
Never
look at
traded
that.
this man.
15% move. Right. Look at that 200 week moving. Whoa.
Right
Whoa,
to
whoa,
it.
whoa, whoa, whoa.
Look at the
There,
daily.
there must have been news on this one. There must have been significant news on this one.
Yeah, the daily chart looks great.
Yeah.
February 17th. Let's try the
And your next target is going to be.
no, maybe not. Maybe they just
755.
targeted this. It looks like maybe there wasn't news. It looks like maybe some traders have just targeted it because of a high
You think?
short
Hold on,
position.
looking.
4.6 million versus a
Yeah,
free
it is,
float of
people.
30. 15%
Timothy Sykes
short.
put it out there.
Oh,
Yeah.
he did. Look, they're targeting the options, the
A bunch of
750.
other.
They're
big
targeting the
people on that.
750 call option. I hate this kind of
Yep.
stuff. To be honest with you, I hate it with a passion. I don't like trading like this, and I don't like following the people who do this. Like they just like target, a specific option. They have their entire community buy it. They have everyone an extra to buy the options, and then it gets caught on scanners, and it moves the stock. All right, congratulations, you can make money that way. I despise this type of stuff. Personally, I know laptop. You're probably cooler with it, just trading the chart. But like when I see that there's no news around it and it's just a pump, I usually just turn the other way. Yeah. Because I don't have the conviction in it.
I don't
have
like
the
those
conviction.
tactics at all. And a very famous a person out there, and Red knows who it is. Got burned for 70,000 doing that a few weeks ago.
Really?
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking
Yeah.
about.
I mean, they tried pumping RR last week.
Yeah.
And
It's
it
always
didn't
something.
work. Yeah, it was a couple big accounts too. They bought the $4. Yeah, wow, it really collapsed on them. I think they were buying the $4 calls last week in huge size, and they were like pumping it all over X, and it failed on them. I hate that kind of trading. It's just disgusting
Yeah.
to me, but whatever.
It'll be that way. Well, same thing with Open and ASST. If you look at those daily charts, they crashed and burned.
Yeah.
And they were pumped.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, let's get yeah. They have a business model going, and if you're close to the inner circle, or whether it's just by knowing the folks, or whether you're in their whatever highest paid tier it is, like the
Yep.
first people who buy, they'll make quick money and they'll sell to the people on the lower tier, and then they dump it on everyone on X, and it's a whole scam. And I don't endorse that kind of stuff. So yeah, look at Atomera, and I looked at it, and I just turned the other way. That's my thoughts on it. Anyway, wow, this USO is so strong. Look at that FChat still going. Holy smoke!
Snap surpasses 25 million subscribers. Snap exceeds 1 billion annualized revenue run rate.
Did they just release an update?
I think this was earlier. Hold on, Snap.
Snap. Oh
Yes,
yeah, 1107 on Benzinga. On Benzinga Pro here. It's an article. It just came out. Yeah. So
Yeah.
got this link from Benzinga Pro. Snap's direct revenue business reaches 1 billion in its own run. Its subscription community surpasses 25 million. I mean, I don't know. I'm almost tempted to jump into this because I've been watching this for a while, and they've kind of inflected to profitability here. If I'm, yeah, revenue 1.7 billion, 1.5. You're talking about. I mean, this thing trades at a really low valuation compared to its social media peers, like really low. It has very poor sentiment because of the regulatory aspect, and also like concerns about the business model and young people, like how much money. But look, you're looking at right now, 1 billion annualized revenue run rate. They're making money. So like, for how long are you going to say like kids, are not a good business model? I mean, I don't know.
Tell that to the cereal companies knew that a long time ago in the 1960s.
Yeah, you can always put ads in front of them, and then they'll tell their parents to buy something or use their parents' credit card if they're a little bit older.
Oh yeah, Soupy Sales. You're not old enough
what's
to remember
interesting
Soupy
is
Sales.
we never talked about Open Door. Bank of America bought a bunch of shares.
I think I saw that the other day.
But I
Yeah,
saw an interesting
but here's
article.
another example, though, Rhett, of they when it's pumped like this, like it's like, who was it? Is it Eric Jackson behind this?
Yeah, it
one?
was Eric Jackson.
Yeah.
And his out there with like price targets of like 300 or some bullshit like that, right? It makes me just it turns me off. Like, I don't do the research. Like, when you're like that pumpy, it turns people off. And even if there's something legitimate behind it, I just become like closed-minded to it, unfortunately. But hey, go ahead with what you're saying.
No, I was gonna say I saw some images and stuff of them selling houses, and I mean, people are gonna like that. I mean, they don't like giving realtors all this money, so I mean, if you're gonna have these straight fees of however much it was listing a house, like they were listing houses with, it was like I think 1 or 5% off of whatever the price was of the actual house because you're taking the realtor out of the question. I mean, most people are gonna list that because I mean, you're talking substantial money, sometimes $20,000-$30,000 each house when you're selling.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely an opportunity to disrupt, 100%.
But it's an easy business model to copy, probably. And let's also remember that you may not get the same protection with a home, right? Maybe something happens down the road and they get a lot of dissatisfied buyers that weren't protected because they didn't have a buyer's agent protecting them during the purchase. So, which I think
but I mean, you can, if nowadays, I mean, you can build those tools in. I feel like, especially now, it's just finding a product that's the stickiness that everyone's going to use. Like, what is it? Redfin that does only 1%, I think, is the other one. Like that took off during COVID. I remember.
There's what's the other one? The one that I was following before. But anyway, I don't know. Hey, so right now at this moment, I'm 1 cent away from going back into silver.
You're going back.
I'm looking at the SLV chart, yeah. And if we break, we just did. Never mind, we just broke 70.50. That's my number, 70.50. I think we have the potential to go back here easily to 86. So I'm in.
All right.
I've been pretty good so far.
Yeah,
6 out of 6.
Yeah,
amazing.
You've been crushing it.
You have been.
We have 3 minutes.
How about the gold
I think it's
chart?
REFI.
I mean, they'll move in the same direction, I guess, but maybe
No,
maybe the
not
gold
really.
chart's a clue because I think the gold chart looks even better than the silver chart.
It's just
no.
percentages.
Yeah. And maybe by the way, gold and silver pop on maybe that's
RGFM.
also acts as a war hedge, by the way. So another reason to own
Sure.
it. Is anyone playing Netflix with me?
I was thinking of getting leaps, if anything.
Oh, not like the weeklies.
No. I was thinking of going out like a year and picking up like it's at 77, so I'll pick up like the $90 leap calls a year.
I'm up 10% on the Netflix calls right now. The weeklies 78. Look at that. I just love the news and I love the chart. And
I don't know, this weekly and daily chart. It's just the daily chart looks ugly to me. I mean,
does it?
yeah. I mean, where's your support? I mean, yeah, you have a little support here, but I don't know if that doesn't hold. This thing goes a lot lower. I mean, yeah, the deal and everything just dragged this down, so you may see it turn around, but
I
weekly
don't
chart.
know. I really feel it. I really feel like this latest catalyst is the beginning of the uncertainty being lifted. So I don't know. I really like
Yeah,
it.
you're
But
normally early to stuff like this, so I won't be surprised.
let's see. I'm sticking with it.
Daily,
Just maybe-
the daily 5-minute chart looks pretty good though to curl back up to the highs for
Yeah.
today. All right, you guys have any final words? We have 1 minute left.
Final words is we're having fun. You know,
Yep.
I put out in a blog update for our Discord last night that it has been a difficult last few weeks. I've been basically break even over the last 2 to 3 weeks because there's been crazy volatility and rotation, and every time I have a big win, I have a big loss right after it. So I could have handled that better, but overall, we've had so many really ridiculously accurate calls in our Discord with the opportunity for people to lock in their gains, and there are a few people who are up substantially here, even through the drawdown the last few weeks. But most of us in our community were just about break even over the last couple weeks, which is pretty good considering a lot of people have been probably crushed. I'm up 33, 34% year to date, which pales into comparison. I know Godfather's been on a sabbatical. He chimed in a few weeks ago. He's like, I'm up 300% year to date. So he is absolutely crushing it. I don't know about you guys. If you want to share, you can. But we're having a good time of it over in our Discord. And sometimes it's all about just staying in the game and capital preservation until things turn in your favor. So that's what I try to do right now when markets aren't as favorable. It's just like try to just stay steady. Try not to lose money. Keep your capital, and then eventually things will turn, and you'll be there for that big payday. That's my final thoughts.
Please keep some money on the side, because if there is a geopolitical event, you're gonna want to have the opportunity to get a great deal, and it's coming.
Yep.
Yeah,
All right.
definitely. All right, guys, take care.
Take care, everyone.
Have a good one.